The first-round draft pick Baylor Shireman to his rookie 4-year contract and the re-signing of J.D. Davidson to another two-way deal. Both of those guys, second-round draft pick Anton Watson and Jaden Springer, are all members of the Celtics Summer League team that'll play in Las Vegas later this week. Game number 1 is Saturday against Miami. In other NBA news, possible Celtic target Daniel Tice has agreed to a 1-year contract with New Orleans. The University of Connecticut yesterday signed head coach Danny Hurley to a 6-year contract extension worth $50 million. Red Sox had last night off. They open up a 3-game series at Fenway Park tonight against Oakland. Brian Bayo will get the start. Keegan Bradley has been named the captain of the U.S. Ryder Cup team that'll play next year. Tiger Woods was reportedly offered the job first and turned it down. And at Wimbledon, top seed Jannik Sinner will highlight quarterfinal play today in London. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off your drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, now open in Franklin, Billerica, and Peabody. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
Here we go. Boom. I win. Boom. Yeah.
Hit somebody. We've got a passion for Boston sports. Get angry. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Fred, hello. Hello. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
He's naked. He has a sword.
Loopity about with a football.
98.5.
Bruins are back from the West Coast.
Cocaine and hookers. Yes. Na.
Is it okay to use this for the radio?
Yeah. Welcome to the show. You sweet. I knew it. You knew it, but they ain't know it.
Everybody, good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Town Fair Tires Studios, 617-779-0985. You can watch us on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe. It's very fun. You play Travis Kelce. It's my father is, not a. This is actually kind of funny to me. My father is not a man who has ever consumed much popular culture, but he is very into this LSU gymnast girl that's with the guy from the Pirates.
What?
Yeah, Livy
of
Dunn.
all the things.
Like, I didn't know who Livy Dunn was, and he was like, because he's like, so I just started busting his balls about it. I'm like, wow, Dad, you're an 82-year-old man. He's like, well, I think it's you don't understand how not like this is for him. I've never heard him talk about a woman. I honestly swear to God, I've never heard him refer to a woman at all. Like in terms of like being a fan of like an actress or a musician. My parents didn't even have like music in the house. I told you they had Jimmy Buffett's Greatest Hits and Leo Sayer.
Oh.
And that was in a drawer next to their bed. Yeah, like they didn't consume music. Like they didn't. There was nothing. And my dad was like Livy Dunn. I had no idea who the hell Livy Dunn was, and he was like that. And so I started busting his balls about it. And he's like, "Well, I just think it's great."
I'm sure he took that well.
Yeah, he's like, no, he started getting defensive, and he's like, I think it's great. Like, I think it's great that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are together. And I'm like, why? And he couldn't explain it. And then he was like, Livy Dunn's really funny. She was complaining about being, oh God, we were at dinner. He's like, Livy Dunn's very funny because he, just sits on his phone reading Fox News. That's all he does. And Fox News puts this stuff up there. And they're like, she's very funny. She was complaining about not making the Olympic team. And that caused all kinds of confusion because I guess the joke was she didn't try out for the Olympic team, but my mother could not follow that logic. So that opened up a whole can of worms for the parents. That was about 20 minutes of confusion.
But why is she on the radar of Fox News or anybody? I bet. What's the story with her?
She's a attractive influencer, and she happened to be a person at LSU, gymnast at LSU, and the guy from the Pirates, the skiing kid.
Skeens, overall number one. He made the All-Star team this week, so that's probably how it came up.
Yeah, he went to LSU,
right?
And so but no, Fox News is like anything else. Like they'll put attractive women on it and like gossip. It's just like any other site. I mean, there's a bunch of garbage in it. I mean, aside from, I guess, if politics is the meat, there's a lot of, but that's how he gets all his information.
Sure enough, yeah. After I Googled Livy Dunn, one of the first things that pops up is a Fox News story. So.
Yeah, so I think that maybe that she's blonde and went to LSU probably is puts her right up in the Fox demo. Mm-hmm. I think that might be a big thing for her. But it was weird. I've only seen my parents kiss one time on the lips, one time. And I was in high school, and I remember because my dad gave my mom a gift, and she reluctantly kissed him on the lips. So and I've never heard my father talk about any woman again. He's never gone oh, how about so and so, or I've heard my mom talk about Kevin McHale. And how
that's
sexy
right.
he is.
That's right. I remember that story.
My mother thought Kevin McHale was very, very attractive.
Well, remember you telling Kevin McHale that when we had him on.
Yeah, I don't. That's better than me. But
he was a little taken aback by that.
You think so?
I don't remember.
Why would
the
he be
detail.
taken aback by
know.
that? He's attractive. I think that he would be excited about that
No,
he's
it
attractive.
just did. I think
He's never heard it before.
You led with
He's
that,
very ugly.
right out of the gate. He came on, and you were like, "Yeah, my mom's attracted to you," and he was like, "What did I get myself into?" Type of thing.
Yeah, well, he got himself into the shock jockery. I'll tell you that. Yeah, this Livy Dunn. Is Livy Dunn too flashy for you, Hardy?
Oh yeah,
Because she
2
has
minutes online. Little Miss, look at me. No, thank you.
She has some attributes that you would enjoy.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
And the whole gymnast thing, Mary Lou Retton. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That all tracks. But
She said Livy Dunn's too tall. Too tall.
She is. She says she's 5'6". I highly doubt that, but she's.
Mary Lou Retton is what? 5 feet?
4'2".
4'2".
She's 3'8".
That's right. The stocky elf.
She is technically a little person.
That's right.
She is. How tall is she really? Is she?
Mary Lou
she's
Retton
under
is-
5 feet tall.
Not
would say-
5 feet tall.
I would say 4'11". if I
Yeah.
had to guess.
Yeah.
That's how tall Simone Biles is. 4'11". Yes, indeed. That, and then she's with a basketball. She's married to a basketball player,
So more about football.
a football player,
Football.
like a
Mary
big
Lou
football player.
Mary Lou Retton is 4'9".
Oh, jeez.
She just put bite size. Put her on a plate and sop her up with a biscuit.
Livy Dunn, man. 5'6", towers over Mary Lou Retton.
I don't think that Livy Dunn's 5'6". I'm gonna guess that she's not 5'6". If she was a gymnast, don't you think?
Yeah,
my
that
daughter's
would-
only 5'5".
That'd be really tall for a gymnast.
Yeah, because my daughter was too tall. She wasn't ideal size for a gymnast when she was a little kid, and she's only 5'5". I don't think Livy Dunn's taller than my daughter.
No,
let's be honest.
This Livy Dunn's a problem. Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't think that she's. I don't if you were asking me, out of all the women in the world that you were ever going to talk about over the course of 82 years, why it would be Livy Dunn, I would not know why this particular woman would be the one that caught your eye. But maybe he's getting senile. I don't know. I can't imagine anything on him works in that fashion anymore.
Did you ever walk in on your parents engaged in coitus?
Oh, of course. I never saw him kiss. I've, of course, seen him have every type of sex.
Let the boy watch situation.
Let the boy watch.
I still laugh at that every time it pops up.
Well, if you don't know what Hardy's talking about, Eastbound and Down, Will Ferrell talking between Kenny Powers and the guy from The Office.
I don't want to pull it and play it quickly because I think it's
No, you
there are
can't.
elements of it that are filthy.
No, you can't play it. But the best is the B-roll from it, because it's all improvised.
Yeah, all the outtakes.
And the outtakes, because Will Ferrell's face, he's playing Ashley Schaefer, the car salesman, and his face is right between the two actors, and he's improvising this thing on his son. What was his son's name?
I don't remember.
walking in on them having sex, and he's like, "Let the boy watch. The two bodies thrust.
He needs to learn.
He needs to learn,
Like I learned.
Like
Like
I
my
learned.
father learned.
like my daddy before me." And the two guys can't laugh. Like they have to sit there, and they're
Son
supposed to
Gabriel.
be pissed. My son Gabriel. And he walked in. He said, "Daddy," and I said, "You," and then whatever. Forget it. I'm gonna do it wrong. But he's doing this improv, and the two guys are supposed to be mad at each other, and they're like face to face with his face in the middle, and the two of them can't laugh, and they're breaking the entire time.
Yeah.
So that is one of the true joys. That comes up on the algorithm probably once a week.
Oh, yeah, still.
Ashley
love it.
Schaefer. Eastbound and Down was no joke. That was a good show.
The Patrick Mahomes, after I think he won his first Super Bowl, and he went on whatever late night talk show it was, and somebody juxtaposed his speech about the party they had with Kenny Powers talking about the parties that they used to have back in Seattle. And it's true. Patrick Mahomes sounds an awful lot like Kenny Powers.
But everyone knows who Kenny Powers is John Rocker. Because
Yeah.
you look no further than the first montage from Eastbound and Down. It's basically what John Rocker did.
Yeah.
And John Rocker was it had happened about John Rocker was a reliever for the Atlanta Braves that was very good for a couple years, and then went on this like he was in Sports Illustrated, like it was a piece on him, and he told the guy who was writing it, he knew that there was a feature being done on him. He was this was not caught on a live mic. This was like him sitting down with the guy, and he gets in this big like homophobic and racist thing about like New York and
Taking
all
the 7 train to the ballpark.
and all
I
yeah,
remember
right.
this.
And
Yeah.
but he became like sort of this cultural icon in Atlanta after that, like because he was blacklisted from the Major League Baseball, so he became sort of this like this counterculture icon in Atlanta. People that supported him. People were very into John Rocker. He was not afraid to come to an event. John Rocker was very available and very around. And
The opening of an envelope. He would be there.
Absolutely. And he was also willing to date whoever was in the crowd. John Rocker, not in particular. Draper and McCarty-ish with that. Draper and McCarty, after the Red Wings would win Stanley Cups, would have sex with everybody. You would meet women, very unattractive women, and they would be not lying about having sex with either Darren Draper or McCarty.
Yeah.
McCarty. Yeah, Matt McCarthy. Hey, I had sex with all of them after the Red Wings won the cup.
After I filled in for Maz on Baseball Reporters.
I filled in for Maz, and it was like just an orgy of phone calls afterwards.
Tidal wave of strange.
They said, McCarthy, you tall drink of water. Can you what do you want me to do? While you're thrusting, just tell me how I stink. Sex, you're more like an ex. You're the John Henry of dudes. It's like putting in John Henry.
Harder. I wish the Red Sox would try harder.
Yeah. Can I call in a pinch hitter for you? There's I can't say it the other way. There's too much room between second and short.
That was well done.
Thank
I was
you.
wondering how you could negotiate
Yeah,
that too.
very good. Thank you. Someone had a troubled birth. All right, very good.
There it
That kid wasn't coming out.
Pushed it. Right to the line.
That's
Yeah, let's
right.
go a little
Very
further.
good. That's 6 o'clock for you, baby.
Welcome to the club.
Welcome up.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Nate, go ahead. Nate. Yeah.
Hey, you were talking about Eastbound and Down, which is one of my all-time favorite shows. Have you watched Righteous Gemstones?
No, Hardy loves it, and I watched Vice Principals. I've watched like the first half of Righteous Gemstones first episode.
It's way better than Vice Principals.
Okay, I liked Vice Principals
it's hilarious.
too.
If you like Eastbound and Down, you'll like it. It's like just picture the same character that he played in Eastbound and Down, but he runs a like evangelical church. A super church.
I will say though, my
You can
favorite.
just imagine the shenanigans.
Okay, but who's your favorite character in Righteous Gemstones?
Oh, the little buddy there of the brother, the little gay guy.
Okay, so
I don't remember his name.
I don't remember his name. I like Uncle Baby Billy. Uncle Baby Billy is.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, Uncle Baby Billy is by far the best character on that show. When he jumps out of the bush to try to tell him about the show that he wanted to pitch, like he just comes out of nowhere. Like there's a whole scene going on. All of a sudden, Uncle Baby Billy literally steps out of the bushes to ambush the guy about a pitch that he wants for a TV show. You have to see it, but it's great. It's great.
Is that Walter Goggins' character, or is that that is Walter Goggins' character? Yeah,
Okay.
he was on Vice Principals too. He's the guy from The Shield.
Yes.
Very good actor.
Very good actor. He was in the Robert Duvall movie, The Apostle. He's very good. In
I
that.
saw The Apostle.
That's a
as matter
great
of fact.
movie.
I can see movies now. It's
You
kind of
can.
the opposite of what was going on before. I can see movies, but TV shows are very hard for me to. I'm usually running around in that automobile.
And I've seen every episode of Righteous Gemstones once. I've not gone back and watched it again, but I remember so many things from it, which to me tells you it's a good, impactful show. And Uncle Baby Billy's TV show was called Bible Bonkers. It was a quiz show. Uncle Baby Billy's Bible Bonkers. Get up here now. Come on. Yeah, y'all play too much. Let's go.
And to bring it all back very quickly, Paul Skeens and Olivia Dunn
Yes.
together, it's sad because they're just young and Paul Skeens is wasting it all. He's just going to stay with this Hick's going to marry this chick.
know.
And it's going to be a whole problem.
He was young and dumb and could throw a fastball 99
Yep.
and then met the pretty girl in college.
Yep.
And
And the
now he's
influencer
like,
girl.
well, I'm never going to do any better than this.
And she makes more money than him. There's no question right now. But she saw him and she goes, this is how I'm going to grow my profile.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this dumb hillbilly.
My earning potential's done in about 5 years, maybe when this guy gets his $200 million contract.
Plus, this is what the story everyone wants. Like, I can sell this right now. And so, and then this dumb Hick's going to marry her. And first of all, then he's going to blow his 20s. And then he's going to look back and regret for the rest of his life. And then he's going to end up giving her half his crap. That's, I mean, and they're young, like 21 years old.
Yeah, just 21.
He's 22. So.
Yeah,
Okay.
like it's way too young. It's actually upsetting. Now I'm upset. It's like you're blowing it all. It's just I don't care if you were unemployed junkie. Don't get married when you're 21.
So that's the big uproar with Skeens right now is that he might get the start for the National League in the All-Star game, and he only has 10. I think he's played 10 games.
Well, there's a kid from Pittsburgh that's leading the league in wins, or no, leading the. He's got 10 wins, and he's the first Pittsburgh pitcher in like 20 years to get into the All-Star break with 10 wins or more, or something like that. Like they have a kid that's not as good, but doing better in certain statistics. So maybe they figure that he should be the pitcher.
Yeah, it's whatever you decide the All-Star game is supposed to be, and you can say that this is not supposed to be a projection of what a guy is going to be. Should you be rewarded for not just the body of work this season, but over the course of a few seasons? If that were the case, I guess no rookie would ever make it. But to get the start, that's another honor on top of the honor.
Well, the thing about starting in the All-Star game, and we'll get to like the lineup and everything later in the show, but the thing about starting in the All-Star game is there used to be just like perennial guys that people wanted to see.
Right.
And that's not the case anymore.
But so Major League Baseball you eliminate the rule that allows guys like Ohtani to pitch and then stay in or DH and then stay in the lineup, that kind of stuff. I could see them starting schemes. Mitch Keller is the guy you're talking about for Pittsburgh, but you know who has a really good chance to start the All-Star game is Chris Sale.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Sale has he leads the National League in wins. He's got 11 wins.
He got pulled from a start yesterday, though.
Yes.
I'm not sure why. All right, very good. We've gone on way too long. We'll be back. I would like to see what Hardy has dug up for what happened.
Oh, you're going to be so pleased with what I leave. You are going to be so
because I am very into the Paul George. He was lowballed. These are all things I'm very interested in.
Right.
The whole USA basketball.
You think you're being sarcastic about your interest level in that? Wait till you hear next.
Oh, very good. That's the sell I was looking for. All right, we'll be right back.
More Toucher and Hardy on the way.
last night.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy, and this should be interesting. Hardy, what is going on in the world of athletics?
I'm going to give you a little something that you are. Just to lead things off here in terms of what happened last night.
And that's hit sharply to left field. Did he get it? High, over the wall, over the bullpen. Big fly, Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah.
His 12th of the year.
6-0.
Leadoff home run here in the fourth, and it's 2-0 Cardinal.
Yeah, Burleson hit one later. Yep, that's a 6-0 Cardinal win over the Washington Nationals.
How about that?
They've won 10 out of 15 or something like that.
Miles Michaelis, right?
Michaelis went to 6 1/3. I know all this off the top of my head. 6 1/3 yesterday. That's how little's going on, is that I know exactly what happened in the Cardinals game yesterday. I was listening to it as I drove around town.
12 out of 17 if you want to extrapolate it out that far.
Yeah, and that's the most in baseball over that span.
Yeah.
Look out. Here come the Cardinals.
How about that?
With crappy Nolan Arenado and crappy Paul Goldschmidt. Arenado's 7 home runs this year.
They have a wild card spot, do they not?
Yeah, they will make the playoffs.
Yeah.
They will add at the deadline. They are adding. They had a very bad year last year.
At least somebody is.
Well, they can't. They can't lose 2 years in a row. They're already not selling out.
See, that's the attitude I want out of my baseball team.
Listen, they've also never, in my lifetime, I believe, signed a big ticket free agent. They've traded for guys and signed them, but I don't recall them ever going out and just signing a guy. They traded for McGuire and he stayed. They traded for Goldschmidt, they traded for Arenado, and then they stayed.
Didn't they finish runner-up to the Red Sox in the David Price bidding? They were far short of the $200+ million, but
Yes.
I think they were second in the bidding.
They were second in the bidding, and David Price should have gone to St. Louis, obviously. That would have been, he didn't want to come to Boston, and he would have been much better off in St. Louis. It kind of ruined his career coming here. Did he do anything after that?
After he left here? No,
Yeah.
He went to the Dodgers, didn't do much.
Yeah,
he
he was,
wound up
hurt.
being like the most expensive middle reliever ever.
Yeah.
They pulled him from the rotation after a while.
Edgar Enriquez himself here. It ruined his career.
We are already into the 4th round of Wimbledon, and Novak Djokovic let the crowd know he was not happy with them last night after his straight sets victory over Dan Holger Rune.
Oh, Dan doesn't know. He's not.
Dan says he's a Wimbledon guy.
Yeah, but I'm out because I was on vacation last week,
Yeah,
so there's no reason to watch.
Dan, Wimbledon gets
Tour de
too many
France,
eyes
baby,
now. Yeah, he's a Tour de France guy. So because it's the easiest one to pretend to know about.
Yeah.
Because no one pays any attention. So you just put him on the spot and actually asked him about something that happened in Wimbledon where he'd have to know.
No idea.
But in Tour de France, you're never going to ask him about anything, so he can just put it on in the background and pretend that he's interested.
Sure. Djokovic was a 6-3, 6-4, 6-2 winner in the 4th round over Rune. It's important to know that the opponent's name was Rune because people were saying Rune. They were cheering him on. Novak did not think so.
And to all those people that have chosen to disrespect the player, in this case me, have a good night. Good night, good night. Very good night. Yeah, I'm hoping that they were just commenting on Runa and that they weren't disrespecting you. They were. I don't accept it. No. I know they were cheering for Rune, but that's an excuse to also boo. Listen. I've been on the tour for more than 20 years, so trust me. I know all the tricks. I know how it works. It's fine. It's okay. I focus on the respectful people that have respect, that pay the ticket to come and watch tonight, and love tennis, and appreciate the players and the effort that the players put in here. I played in much more hostile environment, trust me. You guys can't touch me.
So what are you so pissed about?
Yeah,
what are you so angry about?
And he knows all the tricks of a crowd expressing displeasure with a player.
How
much legwork has to go into going to Wimbledon?
How do you get yourself to be so dislikable as a tennis player? Like, yeah, that's quite an accomplishment in 2024. And he's one of the greatest of all time.
He is arguably the best of all time. What are you doing?
Him or Federer? And he's a prick.
An insufferable prick.
My God,
they just are in this bubble of
what is
wearing
wrong
all
with
whites.
What is wrong with you?
What's wrong with him is he's under the impression that there is decorum that needs to be held while watching one hit a ball back and forth. As if that's I do find it funny that like certain games are considered much classier than the other games. Like tennis is way classier. Why? Well, it is.
The way you dress.
Yeah,
they warm up with each other.
Yeah, exactly.
They volley back and forth. That's a gentleman's game.
Yeah, right. It's so much more put together than these silly baseball games and things of that nature.
Wallach, when does Patriots camp open up? Another week, 2, something like that?
15 days.
All right. Well, I guess it's all right to get some more golf in, especially if you are Bryce Beringer. Beringer? I think we decided it was Beringer.
I think the hard G.
Okay. Patriots punter who made his debut in the 116th Mass Amateur being contested at the Framingham Country Club. How did he do? Not great, but he didn't embarrass himself either. Beringer went out and shot a 5 over par 77. He is currently in a tie for 86th place out of 140 some odd.
What's
golfers.
Framingham Country Club? I've never heard
Framingham
of it.
Country Club?
Yeah, is it a nice country club?
Yeah, it's a championship layout. It's a legitimate golf course, and that's where the Mass Amateur is being held this week. There is a 2-way tie atop the leaderboard after one round. Matt Cowgill, John Broderick.
Oh boy, Matt Cowgill.
Well, Fred, I'll have you know, my neighbor Siobhan Bahamik is currently 1 stroke off the lead in a tie for third with Tyler Dupuis. Is
that the guy with Voss you played with Voss?
Yeah, that's the first thing I said. That's the guy who played with Voss.
He invited us out to his club, Thorny Lee, during the winter on temporary greens, which Voss was not happy with. I'm like, oh, this guy must be a player. And he shows up with clubs older than Wallach and wearing like a Nike warm-up suit and a backwards hat. And he can kind of play, but not to the point where you would be complaining about temporary greens in February in Boston. Yeah. Like, you wanted to play golf, dude. I got you on to a nice golf course in winter in Boston. Isn't that enough?
Yeah, Rich Voss, the comedian,
yes,
went out with Hardy and this gentleman and was making fun of the guy the whole time.
Yes, all sorts of ethnic and religious jokes at Siobhan's expense. But he is only 1 stroke off the lead, a bogey-free 69, which puts him in a 5-way tie for third place after one round.
How old is he?
Siobhan, 35.
So if he wins, I'm saying he's not like a kid. So if he wins this, so he's just some guy. He just is like a work-about guy.
Okay, so I'll tell you who he is. He's the opposite of a guy like Joey Linane, who's playing out of George Wright in Hyde Park. He's a Dedham kid. Joey Linane is, I don't know, like 22, 23 or something. Joey Linane is going to go on to have a golf career. Siobhan is not going to have a golf career.
Yeah,
he's
so
in the mid-30s. So
he's like a country club guy. He's not he's not like he plays for fun.
Yeah, correct.
So if he wins this Mass Amateur, what happens from there?
This is a level of golf I'm unfamiliar with. I guess qualify for the U.S. Amateur or I don't know.
He wants that?
Yeah, he wants to play like high-level amateur golf. Yeah.
Yeah.
The guys like Matt Parziali are out there playing in the Mass Amateur. He's the Brockton
guy.
He's the Brockton firefighter who got to play in the Masters with Tiger Woods.
It's a great story, Fred.
Matt Parziali's a legit story.
Well, listen. What do I know? I don't know about that. Well, congratulations to your neighbor.
Well, it's not congratulating yet. They play another stroke play format today, and then it's into match play for the rest of the week.
Wait a minute. How many people qualify for match play? How many? Where do you have to finish?
I don't know.
Top 16, top 8, top 32.
I'll tell you, if I'm Framingham Country Club member, I'm not so happy about
That's
this.
true. What do you mean? I can't play on my home course for 4 days?
Yeah, you're shutting the whole thing. It sounds like more than that.
Yeah.
No, it's been like 5 days.
Yeah,
It's Monday through Friday.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah, but you got to close the thing to set up the course, do you not?
Plus,
practice rounds.
No, it's not like the Masters.
No.
Yeah, they were playing practice rounds, but you can go out there and play with them.
Yeah, but the thing is,
or behind them, or
yeah, but you know that they shut it down for like 4 hours of the day, and then then it's going to be hard to park. I don't want that at my club.
Well, are they allowed?
I
to use
haven't been there.
Are they allowed to use the pool? I don't know.
I mean, you got to let them take a dip.
I know.
I mean, afterwards.
Got to park at a satellite lot and get bussed in.
It's a very hot day. You got to
let
let them use the pool. All right. Well, I can only imagine what more is in store, as we have already gone over the Mass Amateur Golf Championship.
Fred, we'll find out tomorrow morning, and again Thursday and Friday. We'll be talking about it a lot.
Yes, indeed. How is Hardy's neighbor doing in the tournament? That will be what we know. We will have that for you. We will be back. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Celtics well underway on their off-season. Summer League play begins at the end of the week in Las Vegas. Celtics announced a couple of signings yesterday. First-round draft pick Baylor Shireman to his rookie deal. And they also re-signed former second-round pick J.D. Watson to another two-way contract. We're talking about the Summer League. It starts Friday night against Miami, and then Monday afternoon against the L.A. Lakers and Bronny James. Possible Celtics target Daniel Tice has agreed to a one-year contract with the Orleans. Red Sox had last night off. They open up a 3-game series at Fenway Park tonight against Oakland. And Keegan Bradley has been named the captain of the U.S. Ryder Cup team that'll play next year. Tiger Woods was reportedly offered the job first and turned it down. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
guys are missing out. That's the stuff. We are Toucher and Hardy. We were talking about the new Beverly Hills Cop movie. There's a thing in the Ringer that's a oral history of how wonderful the first Beverly Hills Cop was. And there's something very underwhelming about movies that premiere on streaming services that I tend not to watch them. Now that when I take my daughter to the movies a lot, like going to the movies and like having to sit there is a great motivator to not be on the phone. I find it incredibly difficult to watch anything for any extended length of time. Like really for more than 5 minutes, my attention span is all gone. So I haven't watched a movie. I watched The House of Guccione, which was a 5-part documentary on the Penthouse situation, which I was very unfamiliar with. But let's just say that P plays a big role in the 5th season.
Really?
Bob got very into it. Very into it.
Oh, good for Bob.
In his personal life and in the magazine, it was a whole situation.
Okay.
But it was interesting because like everyone's seen The People versus Larry Flint, and obviously Playboy's story's been told a million times. But I don't remember really Penthouse, like or anything about it. But there was a point where Bob Guccione was the richest man in the United States. They say.
That's crazy.
He had a mansion in Manhattan. And you say, Fred, what do you mean? He had a full-on mansion in the city of New York, the New York City, with an indoor pool, like 15 bedrooms. It was the largest private residence in New York City. And it was all built upon Penthouse. And Penthouse historically carries very little weight. But he was something else. I mean, he should be the one. He's far more interesting than Hugh Hefner. He wore a lot of gold chains. He was like Mr. T. He'd wear the horn. He was like Frank Viola. He'd wear like the Horn of Plenty and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, Guccione was a very rich man, and then he blew it all. He built a casino in Atlantic City. It was a penthouse casino.
Yep,
in Atlantic City, and they never got the license for it.
They lost $160 million.
And this was like in the 80s.
Right.
So he built this casino in Atlantic City without the gaming license. So he bought the property, and this is before John even started going. This is before
a long time
this summer.
Yeah.
But he bought, and he couldn't get the gaming license, so he just had to sell the building for like pennies on the dollar to someone who could get a gaming license. Because believe it or not, he sold it to Trump. Trump like schemed him out of it. Trump convinced him to buy the property.
Now I know what building that is. Okay.
Yeah. So Trump convinced. It's very classy. Have you ever been to the Trump Atlantic City Casino?
Yeah. Remember, I told you I ran into that Met fan with the black Met uniform, the David Wright uniform. It was in that casino.
Yeah, that's where the Met fan with the spaghetti sauce all over himself yelled at me for screwing the deck at a $5 table.
That was that was a Trump. Yes.
Yeah, it was a very classy place.
Right.
And you knew it was classy by the gold and bronze that was everywhere. Marble and bronze. I think the Guccione plan, I wouldn't be surprised if Trump stole that from Guccione, because Guccione, not tastefully done, the biggest private residence in Manhattan, if you can believe it. He was a man of who liked Roman opulence. And he made the movie Caligula that lost him hundreds of millions of dollars, too. The first mainstream movie with full penetration. And it starred British actors with Sir and Helen Mirren was in it. But they don't have sex.
Oh.
Yeah, Sirs
I never
and
saw
Dames.
the movie, so okay.
No, neither did I. But I mean, I saw the documentary. Okay. I'm not going to sit through Caligula. It's 2.5 hours of garbage. I'm not going to. If I want to see pornography, it's as simple as a couple clicks.
Couple of touches on the old iPad.
Malcolm McDowell, Peter O'Toole, as you said, Fred, Helen Mirren, and Sir John Gielgud.
Yeah,
John Gielgud.
Like he stacked it with these Oscar winners, and then so what happened is it's summer. So Gucci is like, I'm making the best porno of all time. Like I'm making the best movie of all time. So he self-funds this movie. He gets this director, and they shoot the movie, And Guccione sees it and he's like, there's not enough sex. He's like, I need sex.
Gilger, take your pants off.
No, so without any of the original cast, he flies a bunch of, like, he's built these sets in London. So he flies all these penthouse chicks over to London, and he just starts filming himself these orgy scenes, like with like full orgy, like real sex, and cuts it into the movie without anybody in the actual production's permission, but he funded it, and then he releases it, and people are like, and the people that were in the movie are like, what the hell is going on? Like, we knew it was bad, but now you've added this like hardcore orgy scene to like an already filthy film.
Yeah.
And not happy anyone that was involved in that project.
The film was seized in Boston when he tried to bring it, literally tried to import the physical film into the U.S. And Penthouse sued and won the case when a Boston municipal court ruled that Caligula had passed the test and was not obscene.
Now, do you understand how hard it would be not to make money on that? Like, if the best thing that could ever happen in that movie is it getting seized.
Yes.
Because that was the whole Deep Throat thing. Is that Deep Throat was a sensation because it was banned and there was decency charges. Like, the actors like Harry Reams went to jail, and it became this big controversial thing. And then obviously it got thrown out because of the First Amendment. And then Deep Throat started running at like movie theaters, like regular people, like people's moms and dads went to go see Deep Throat. It became this cultural phenomenon. It got made for like, $500 and made like, $20 million or something. Like, it was ridiculous. The amount, I think it might be, for a while, was the most profitable movie of all time, from production costs to actual what it made. And so if you're Guccione, you get it seized in Boston, you win this First Amendment case, automatically it's going to be people are going to see it out of, morbid curiosities before the internet. I mean, you had to go see it, and it still was a total disaster. But I found that interesting. And the Guccione children, they lived in the house, and they would have sex with the penthouse pets.
Yeah. He also tried to build a nuclear fusion plant, but that never happened. That seems like maybe a bit of a reach for a guy who published Penthouse.
Well, he was a big subject of ridicule for Larry Flynt, because they don't go into this in the documentary, but he put out Omni magazine, and Larry Flynt used to say, like, Guccione is trying to put out science rags. Well, I'm putting out filth for the common man. That's what he used to say. Hustlers for the common man. Guccione ain't no pornographer. Larry would double down.
It's an odd flex.
Oh, yeah. Well, Larry,
he's not a pornographer.
You cannot buy his...
I'm a pornographer.
Yes, you cannot buy Larry Flynt's biography anymore, but I take a trip down to Kentucky for his youth. He's proud of a lot of things that you might not be proud of.
Yeah.
Got to snap its neck and throw it in the river, or your dad will find out. You got anything?
Yeah, I have two things. I don't know how to segue to them. We can talk about Jason Tatum later.
All right.
Because he was.
I know he was 2 days late for the Olympics, but the big thing at the Olympic.
Well, I got 10 seconds of Jason Tatum. You want it here?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Oh, they forgot to turn his microphone on. That's right. So never mind. Yeah, he got his title, so now he hopes people will stop, questioning him so much. They'll still question some things, but not everything, because now he got his title.
I don't understand. He's just boring. Like, okay, it's just, that's the thing, is that he's never going to be a huge superstar. He's just too boring.
One more thing that
Kawhi Leonard, they're just boring.
Yeah, they're not.
It's not Steph Curry.
Engaging.
Steph Curry and LeBron are much more exciting. And Anthony Edwards, by the way.
Which leads me to the last thing that Wallach has mentioned a couple of times in the headlines today. Tiger Woods turning down the captaincy for the Ryder Cup. And now it's going to Keegan Bradley in the uproar. And a buddy of mine had texted me about this last night. I said, who cares? And this is coming from a golf guy. Like, the captain of the Ryder Cup. I mean, the guy who rides around on a golf cart with a walkie-talkie for no reason whatsoever.
Does he set the pairings?
Yeah, so what? Who did play better? You know what?
Well, people
You
are
big
incredulous
babies.
about it, and that Keegan Bradley has only been on 2 Ryder Cup teams. Both of them
didn't make it
win
the last time, right?
Yeah,
Well,
and
they
he's never
should-
even been an assistant captain.
They should have put him on the last time, and that was a mistake made by Captain Zach Johnson, not putting Keegan Bradley on the team. Instead, he loaded it with his buddies who weren't playing as well as Keegan was. And Keegan said, because I asked him twice, I said, would you have conceded that last putt like Ricky Fowler did to win it? Now, they were going to lose. They were going to lose. They need another half point. There were 4 points out there on the course, and Europe only needed another half point. But Fowler concedes like an almost 3-foot putt to what's in it, Tommy Fleetwood to lose the Ryder Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And Fleetwood even said after that, it's like, what'd you think about that? He said, I was really happy he conceded that putt. Exactly.
I'm banging Stevie Nicks. What do you need from me?
No, there's Mick Fleetwood.
Well,
Different Fleetwood.
He wasn't even with Stevie. That was Lindsey Buckingham. That was with her.
Correct.
Mick Fleetwood was having sex with the other lady.
But I also said to him, he goes, well, Tiger would have been the better choice. I'm like, why? Because Tiger Woods is such an engaging, charismatic leader.
Well, Perkins
He sucks. He's the guy, in my opinion, the greatest golfer of all time. But as a person, he sucks.
Oh, please. He took the lady behind the church to have sex with her when she
Do
waited on him in Perkins.
do you think Tiger would come in here and rally us to succeed in victory toward anything? I would choose Keegan Bradley to be that guy over Tiger.
I couldn't pick Keegan. I'll agree with you because I couldn't pick Keegan Bradley out of a lineup. If you put you put 7 golfers in front of me, I
bet
tell
you could. I'm gonna try that test with you.
You assemble a collection of Keegan Bradley lookalikes and tell me.
Nicholas!
Yeah. Well, listen, Tyler Milliken's cousin's here. And it's a situation. He's not the fresh-faced boy from Hofstra that was in here yesterday.
Let's see if he can whip that together for before we have to do something next regarding Milliken's cousin.
Well, Tyler Milliken's cousin has been very demanding. He needs things done post-haste. Tyler Milliken's cousin is he needs Nick Gemelli to do things for him, and he needs it now. So Tyler Milliken's cousin is full of all pea and vinegar. So we'll find out what's going on with that in just a moment.
We start with the Celtics on this July 9th. Yesterday, they officially announced the signing of rookie first-round draft pick Baylor Shireman to a 4-year contract and J.D. Davidson to another 2-way deal. The Summer League roster was announced yesterday as well. Both Shireman and Davidson are on it, along with Jordan Walsh, Jaden Springer, and this year's second-round pick Anton Watson. Their first Summer League game is Friday afternoon in Las Vegas against Miami. In other NBA news, former Celtic Daniel Tice has found a new home, and it's not Boston. He has signed a 1-year deal with New Orleans. Red Sox had last night off. They have 6 games to go before the All-Star break, all of which will be at Fenway Park. They open up a 3-game series against Oakland tonight. And Patriots punter Bryce Behringer fired a 5/77 on day 1 of the Mass Amateur Championship yesterday at Framingham Country Club. He is 9 shots off the lead. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, keeping drains flowing for homes and businesses in the greater Boston area since 1976. Go to johnsewer.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
If you've got the app, you've got Toucher and Hardy to wake you up no matter where you are.
Or who may or may not have been to jail.
Get the app. The 98.5 The Sports Hub app. Now, more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
He was more like single 0 for a logo 3. He doesn't mind, but what he said was, I am the one.
He doesn't mind.
Celtics will dance on the floor in the finals. Scal said he is the one. Celtics will dance on the floor in the finals.
Oh, Tyler Milliken's cousin.
He told me his name was JT as he hit step back 3. Then every head turned with eyes of being the one. Celtics will dance on the floor in the finals.
Tyler Milliken's cousin has been a intern here on the show for a while now.
Be careful what you do.
He's taken over the world with his parody, songs.
Told him, be careful of who you want and be careful what
very
you do.
Exciting time to be Tyler Milliken's cousin as he goes to Emerson.
Jason Tatum is a Celtics player. He's just a guy who will give your team 51. Indiana is JT's son. Watch him slam dunk for an A1. JT is number 1.
Times 1 with 1. There you go.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things with that. He is at the Emerson College Department of Communications where Dennis Leary went. Roseanne Barr, Jay Leno all went to Emerson. And where Gary Tanguay is a professor of his. Yes. First question, how many connections can you get to teach my class for me? That's your first assignment is to get me help. First assignment is this. Good life advice. Take your 401k money, cash it out, and add to your kitchen. There's no investment like appliances. That was the information. That was what I was doing. Style. I was doing at the time Comcast Sports with Gary. Mm-hmm. They told me they were going to teach me television. I didn't learn anything.
Oh, okay.
And Gary was like, "Yeah, what you do is you take your. This is true." He goes, "You take your 401k, and you cash it out, and you put it in your kitchen. You pay the penalty, 60%."
Hey, fatso.
So there you go. But here we are. Tyler Milliken's cousin has been bothering Nick like there's no one's business. Tyler Milliken's cousin during the week of 4th of July, which I can't imagine Emerson had class, was all over Nick, who was ignoring him to fill out a Department of Communication Studies internship midterm report, which is a bold thing for Emerson to do, to ask for a midterm report. That's a lot asking for people that are housing your students for a midterm report. But Tyler Milliken's cousin has sent us this, and Nick is obviously illiterate, so we had to, we'll have to do it here on the air.
Yeah, and that's fine. And by the way, just as a quick task, I asked him to assemble 7 golfers to see if you could, in fact, identify Keegan Bradley out of a lineup, and he gave it to me right away.
Okay.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
All right, you stop when I get to Keegan Bradley.
Tiger Woods. Is that Koepka?
Yep.
There you go. I couldn't get that.
That is. That's Mickelson. That is that DeChambeau because of the muscles?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. It's one of those. It's the one that's not Mickelson or Koepka or. You keep stopping at him. So I mean, Jesus, Hardy.
You got it, Fred. You could identify Keegan Bradley out of 7 golfers.
I actually could not. I could identify 3 of the 4.
And
golfers.
one of them was Colin Morikawa, and one of them was Tiger Woods.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't the Asian guy,
Yeah.
or the Asian black guy.
Yeah.
So that was a hint.
But that was a 4-minute turnaround on a task I asked him to do.
Well, listen, I mean, how often have we asked him to create magic, and he's done so. So, student name Tyler Milliken's cousin.
Yeah, fill this out, and Nick, if you could just fill this out.
There was a lot of confusion
Verbatim.
between Nick and Hardy about how this was going to happen. Supervisor's name, I would imagine, Gary Tanguay, is young Nicholas. Organization name, WBZ Radio, student work hours per week, 100.
Well, he just texted me again. He said one of the questions on the sheet y'all are going to discuss. I don't like the y'all.
Is he from the South?
Is hours worked? And this is his exact text to me just now. Make sure to include my hours worked from home if you can, the songs and stuff like that. Oh, should I make sure to do that? Milliken's cousin?
Milliken's cousin, hours. When he walks outside at his parents' house and talks into the phone to get the songs going.
Do we include the patio I got you access to for the Celtics parade? Do you want me to include those as work hours?
Absolutely.
Anything else I can do for you?
He wore a sandwich board and brought a radio to the Celtics parade so his grandparents and mom could see how popular he was. A student arrives on time, indeed. Please review the student's work performance during the internship with your organization. Work quality, accurate and thorough. Well, there's been many assignments. I don't know. It's a scale of 1 to 5.
I mean, 10. It's absolutely a 5 if that's as high as we can go.
All right, but I have a feeling that Tanguay's not going to take this if it's all 5s. It's going to seem like we didn't do due diligence.
Okay, well, for the comment example, work quality, accurate and thorough. Yes, completes tasks accurately and exceeds expectations.
Takes initiative. Well, that's a 5.
That's a 5.
No, he's come up with many ideas.
Big time.
Go ahead. Subject knowledge, understands industry practices. Well, he knows he can slam dunk for the and 1.
Maybe a 4. Maybe a 4 on industry practices.
Yeah, I would say
not a 5.
Yeah,
no.
I don't know if he knows all that much. There is some factual errors in his songs. Teamwork, 5. Problem-solving ability, NA, as there have been no problems for him to solve. What is the student's primary strength? Well, not taking his shirt off like a whore, like his cousin.
Yeah. Write that down, Nick. He doesn't take his shirt off like his whore cousin.
Who is doing nips for trips, which is some dregs of society internet game that he's playing. That Tyler Milliken's cousin's cousin, Tyler Milliken, is taking his shirt off and exposing those pepperoni nips to the world every time there's a triple that the Red Sox hit, because he's drifting on the Red Sox success, which I don't care for, and B, don't lower yourself to that Tyler Milliken's cousin. Tyler Milliken's cousin, do not do that. In what areas can a student most improve? Well, he can stop his colloquial use of y'all.
Yeah, that would be an excellent start.
Write that down, Nicholas. How can Emerson better prepare students for this work experience? Fire Gary.
Have Gary, or better yet, have Gary teach his own class.
Have Gary try harder.
That'd be very good.
It's his only
he
job.
Taught his own class from
Tell
beginning
him
to end
to get better financial advice. Because John, you taught Gary's class, did you not?
I have.
And you taught it for how long?
I spoke for 40 minutes.
And how long was the class?
55 minutes.
Yeah. So Gary introduced you, and then you talked, and then you left, and then that was the class.
Pretty much.
All right. And was Tyler Milliken's cousin at that one?
Yes, that we met that night.
Was he an intern yet?
No, he was not.
Did he stand out?
Oh, no.
Did he stand out?
Yes, he actually asked a couple of questions after I was done.
Really?
Yes.
Did he seem to have the right amount of gravitas towards you?
Yes. I will say yes, he did.
All right.
Thanks, Sarah.
There's a little bit of young Nicholas in that boy.
That's why they get along so well.
For you, is this all right for you for the radio?
Yes, sir.
All right, what do you want to say, man?
Tyler Milliken's cousin's the man. Raps are A1. Tyler Milliken, go balls.
Hey, thanks, man. Have a great day. All right.
This guy poked him in the belly afterwards. Tyler Milliken's cousin loves pastry. He's just a little doughy kid. How can if you had to give the student's letter a grade, what would it be? TM, TMC. Tyler Milliken's cousin.
TMC.
Yeah, just go. I can give you 3. Nick, write that down. I can give you 3. TMC. Tyler Milliken's cousin.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was supposed to be.
Tyler Milliken's cousin is chasing fame, baby. But he's not degrading himself like Tyler Milliken's cousin's cousin is by taking his shirt off.
Integrity.
You keep that shirt on, Tyler Milliken's cousin. You keep just doing what you're doing, and that should suffice. Does he get a grade for this? Is this like is
we
this
got a nod of yes from the other room?
Because if you're going to Emerson, and this is an honest question in retrospect, if you're going to Emerson, you're obviously not going to get a graduate degree. You're probably just going to go for the 4 years. What is it to you what your grades are?
Yeah.
He is getting a graduate degree, he says. In what? Oh, what?
That's not helping.
Tyler Milliken's
Whatever
cousin
it is you're
come in
doing
here.
is not helping.
Yeah.
You need to actually speak
Lower
in the
his
microphone.
lower his knowledge of the operation to a 2.
He's coming in.
Oh, no.
But
a lot faster than other people.
Well, I don't know about that. Okay.
Here he is.
Oh, wow, he's here already. I'm so used to Nick.
Have a seat. That's why we asked you in here.
I'm
Yes.
so used to Nick strolling in here with that wide ass of his. All right, Tyler Milliken's cousin, you have a chain on that goes all the way to your chest, where your cousin brazenly shows his chest with a huge crucifix on it.
You know what's kind of crazy is that when I first saw him on Twitter, I hadn't seen him in like a while, a couple of years, and I saw him at a family event, and then 3 months later, I see him shirt off on Twitter. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah,
like, it's a whole new field right here.
Yeah, it was degrading to your family. Is your family not into that? Do they think that have they mentioned shame?
My parents find it hilarious, and I find it pretty funny. So I actually had something for him. You know the scene from the Ballad of Ricky Bobby, and it's like where the girl takes her shirt off, and he's like, "Drive these." I had Tyler said he could recreate that at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway when he went next week. So
why are you encouraging him, Tyler Milliken's cousin?
Because it's funny.
You're a man of God. You have a giant crucifix on.
Yeah, I got confirmed back when I was 18. I told you about this before.
Right, I know, but I'm always fascinated that a young man can wear such a large crucifix. It's Guccione-esque.
Yeah.
It's almost like you stole it from a church. And you just took it from the altar and put it around your neck.
How'd you know? I mean, that's
it is
exactly
huge.
what I did.
All right, so when you got confirmed, your parents gave you a corny necklace. Very good.
Sure.
All right. Now, are you getting a grade for this?
As far as I know, yes. Right now, they have us do like a weekly like check-in with them, where you do like a discussion and all that. So
is it call? You have to call Tangway every week?
No, that's not. He's not my supervisor in this.
Okay. So does your supervisor listen to the show even?
I think she knows that I'm on the work here, but I don't think she listens to the
She
show.
an attractive woman?
She's my advisor, so I guess.
Very good. All right. Now, now Tyler Milliken's cousin, you're getting a graduate degree in what?
Sports communication.
Hachi machi. Now, why is a graduate degree required for that?
So I took the graduate degree because I can do it in 1 year as opposed to 2.
Yeah, but I just want to know what the graduate degree gets you.
I don't really know. I think my master's degree, I think.
No, I understand that you will get you a master's degree, Tyler Milliken's cousin.
What are you trying to become with this particular
why
branch?
is the master's? I've never known a communications profession that requires an advanced degree.
What job are you pointing towards?
So my end goal essentially is either to do radio broadcasting or take Jack Edwards' job for the Bruins would be my dream, but who knows? I'll never know. I just think that
Jack Edwards has a doctorate, you know.
Yeah.
Dr. Edwards.
He's Dr. Edwards to you. As does every play-by-play guy. Zolak, of course, from the University of Maryland, an honorary doctorate.
Masters.
Yes.
Zolak.
Triple PhD from Harvard right there.
Absolutely. All right. Well, so when are you getting your graduate degree now?
No, I'm going into my senior year this year, so I'll have 2 more years left.
And so Emerson gets another. So you'll be at Emerson for 5 years.
Yep.
Who's the biggest celebrity to come in and talk to you?
Probably either Wallach or Hardy or Jim.
But like Leno or someone hasn't come in and talked, or Dennis Leary.
One of Gary's actor friends. Yeah.
Friends.
We had Jennifer Coolidge at one point because she went to Emerson.
There you go.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, Jennifer Coolidge is a big star, so that's bigger than Wallach or Hardy.
I mean,
Hardy and Wallach saying yes to. Do you think Gary's half-assing his class?
No, I think Gary does a great job.
How many times has he taught it?
I mean,
beginning to end.
I mean, that's you really put the pressure on me here. I'd say about
less than 10.
Yeah,
Six out of how many classes?
16 or so.
Oh my God!
No, more than that. Like 24. Well, let's see. We would do
so 18 in the class.
A quarter of the classes. It's Gary.
We do the class, but like most of the time, he'd let us go and record what we wanted.
Yeah. Go do whatever you want. Go sell ads.
And then he'd give us.
I'll sit over here in the corner.
Yeah, go
for jobs.
Go in this alley. And come back with 50.
I mean, you guys were 2 of like 7 guest speakers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It was great. It was great.
I need crack. Go out.
By far my favorite class, though. By a mile.
Listen, you're going to earn it one way or the other. Come back with $100. So Gary's just whoring out his friends. Who else has talked in that class besides Hardy and Wallach?
Jim Louth and then,
holy cow!
So he came in once.
Who? Jim Louth and who? Jim Louth and who else?
We had Brian Barrett from The Ringer. He came in. He was the first one we had, and he came in, and it was the day after he did an episode with Tyler Milliken, so that was kind of funny. We had Andy Gresh. Anybody else?
Everyone who Gary's been fired with.
Yeah.
It's coming. Did Zolak come in?
No, we didn't have Zoe come in, but we did have Bob Sosi come in once.
Oh, my God. He is really abusing these relationships.
Just a compilation of colorful characters to walk through those doors.
Well, Tyler Milliken's cousin, you're A+ in my book. So hopefully you get an A. Don't you think we shouldn't give you all 5s because then they'll know something's fishy?
No, take a 4. It's that way, like when you cheat off a friend's test and you have to give one wrong answer.
That's what I'm thinking.
Like,
don't think that we put no effort into this.
Yeah, exactly.
If we just give you all 5s.
Yep.
All right, so subject knowledge, give them a 4. But I do want you to say, if you could give the student a letter grade, what would you be? And I do want you to put 3 letters, Nick. TMC. All right?
Hashtag TMC?
You're already marketing yourself, Tyler Milliken's cousin. Good for you. Do you have social media? Can people follow you on Tyler Milliken's cousin? What is it?
It's really long. It's I_am_Matt_Mitchell on Instagram, and then on Twitter, I believe it's just Matt Mitchell. And in my bio on Twitter, it says Tyler Milliken's cousin at 98.5.
Good.
So if you find me on there,
because I don't know who this Matt character is. But all right. Well, Tyler Milliken's cousin, thank you, and I appreciate all your hard work. And hopefully it continues well into the future, Tyler Milliken's cousin. Well, I hope you get Jack's job.
People hanging in the bar in the evening on a Thursday night. A little light is shining off the parquet. Lets me know everything's alright.
Tyler Milliken's cousin makes me feel alright. He doesn't take his shirt off for cheap jokes like his cousin. And he wears a giant wristband. Is anyone else fascinated by that necklace?
It's the Flavor Flav of
religion. What is the metal that's made out of?
I believe it's just like stainless steel.
Oh my God, Tyler Milliken's cousin. You might want to stop wearing that. Let's be honest.
Or at least tuck it in.
Yeah, maybe wear whatever you want, but you don't have to necessarily wear it outside the shirt. It's a very long necklace.
Do you ever just think that you're doing the guy a disservice if you don't go like stop, like stop wearing that, like you're being kind of a dick not to say it.
Esquire used to be a real magazine, and years ago they had a article on men's jewelry, and the entire article was one ring, one watch, you're done.
But I actually think that you can wear a necklace, but I wouldn't wear a stainless steel big ass necklace. Like I just wouldn't do that. But this is my own. But do whatever you want. I am not a youth any longer. I can't tell you what the kids are doing. But I will tell you this: is that sometimes I think I'm being more of an a-hole not to say it than to not say it. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
And I am working as a default supervisor here at Tyler Milliken's cousin.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
A mentor. I mean, you're not one of my Hofstra kids, like that fresh-faced boy that was here yesterday. Did he get that thing for you, Hardy?
Not yet. I gave him a deadline of this afternoon.
Tyler Milliken's cousin, you are the best intern so far. All right, thank you very much. We will be back.
Sarah.
Wick Grossbeck, and thank you, Sarah. Wick Grossbeck, who knew? He's achieved nothing. It's all in a grand illusion. We will find out about what his situation is in just a moment.
Jason Tatum is a Celtics player.
Toucher and Hardy, and as the city winds down from the championship parade for the Boston Celtics, Wick Grossbeck is a beloved figure right now. I mean, he pretty much is the face of the ownership group. He is the person that does the interviews for the most part. And he said during the parade, he goes, "Let's win another. Let's us as a collective. Let's win another." And then, like a kid having a party at his parents' lake house when they come home early from vacation, the party ends. This has got to be embarrassing. I mean, it really does. Because John worked for the Celtics. I mean, he get paid by the Celtics to call games. And you were completely unaware that Grossbeck's money came directly from his family, right? His dad.
No clue.
Yeah, like neither did I. Like, in fact, there was a sitcom with John Cryer about, I guess, Wick Grossbeck's wife, like that he married a woman whose ex-husband like hangs around, and the whole idea is like this is rich guy, but it's just someone else's money. Yeah. He was actually just acting as a conduit for his father and kind of getting to play with the Celtics. Now, he did a good job, and, I mean, everyone likes him, so I'm not taking anything away from him, but, you know, you just got done celebrating. You're a grown man, I would imagine, in your 50s, 60s, and then your father goes, no more. Like, you have to give back the toy that you were so much enjoying.
It was fascinating. They did a retrospective NBC Sports Boston on the 2008 championship, and so they went the history of the ownership. And Wick Grousbeck sat down for an extended interview and said, yeah, I wanted to know the Celtics could be bought. You know, I went to Steve Pagliuca, and he said, I'm in, and then we went and bought the Celtics. Never mentioned his family once.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's no spring chicken either. He's a 63-year-old man, so good for his father. Being a very successful living human being with a son who's 63 years old. And according to Wikipedia, I still don't see anything about his father. Irv Grossbeck. So I don't know anything. I still don't know anything about his father. It's not anywhere that I can find. I mean, Wick Grossbeck has got many degrees from prestigious universities, but he was on CNBC yesterday, Hardy, and
Yes.
What did he have to say?
Well, among other things, he talked about, you know, what is his share, whose share is it a family thing, and he did some explaining there.
Can you tell us why you made that decision?
Sure. Well, I want to just clarify, it's not my majority stake. The control of the team is owned by my family. So it's a family that I belong to, and then I have the Celtics family I also belong to. So there's an intersection, and there's an involvement. So the family has been involved. We've been involved 22 years. So there's been discussions and thoughts about estate planning and family planning. And so the expectation is to sell the team in two parts, 51% going fairly soon, 49% then closing in a second closing. That's the expectation in 2028. I'm planning or expected to stay on until 28, and we're going to hire bankers and advisors, and this is going to be quite a bidding process.
So this was a family decision. You said in the press release that it was, quote, estate and family planning considerations. Right. Can you elaborate at all on that?
I think that speaks, I think, Scott, that really just says it. It's a family, been in a long time, and loves the Celtics, and at some point after 22 or even 25, 26 years, you know, you can find somebody else to come in with energy and commitment. We're going to try to find the right buyer.
Yeah, so his dad's making him sell it.
Well,
so the deal...
Irving, by the way, is 89.
Yeah, good for him. And yeah, so he wants to get his affairs in order.
Co-founded Continental Cablevision.
All right, so he's a very wealthy man, and Grossbeck's father, what a time. And by the way, the idea that Grossbeck is going to be able to sell something for billions of dollars and then maintain control of it is amusing. Unless he sells it to the Pagliuca guy, then maybe the Pagliuca guy feels bad for him and goes like, all right, you can you can still hang around for a little while.
That's a conspiracy theory that it's already a done deal. That first 51% will be bought out by Pags.
I would imagine that if you're a Celtics fan, that's what you want.
Yes.
And but can you? I have to imagine, because then you got to go on CNBC, and they're really the guy's asking him to say that his father's making him sell the team. I mean, that's what the guy from we all agree, right? The guy from CNBC, when he goes, can you further elaborate on it's a family decision, is asking, like, just tell him that your father wants you to sell the team.
I agree. It's probably that, but the estate planning and the amount of money that they would have to pay if it were just if he inherited the team, if he inherited the majority interest in the team. And I'm not going to get into the weeds too much of the taxes on estate taxes and things like that, but there is a case to be made that if what the end goal is to make as much money off this thing at the end of it as you possibly can, why wait to inherit it when you're going to have to then pay, I don't know, something that's with $1 billion in it in estate taxes?
Yeah.
The moment you take control of the team, that would suck.
The Celtics are valued at well over $4 billion, maybe over $5 billion.
So I think that's part of the consideration.
Of course, but I would say that there's no way he wanted to sell the team right now. There's absolutely no way that he wanted to. I can't imagine that the reason that you've inserted yourself into the team is specifically for just what has occurred, and to have the rug pulled out under you like a week after the parade could not be the plan.
Okay, so does he need cash? Does he need actual money for some of his other dealings?
We're still waiting for a deal, a potential deal.
This is on the golf, the golf investment that he made along with John Henry and the PIF deal. So he was asked about this.
We're still waiting for a deal, a potential deal with PIF, the Saudis, and Liv. Is this going to happen or not?
I'm not at that table, and not really allowed to comment too in depth. I would say the general vibe is and it's been discussed publicly, that the vibes are positive. There have been productive conversations, I think is the word. I think the general intent is over time, legally with the approval of relevant authorities, to unify golf.
All right.
What the hell what's he doing now?
So John Henry got him to invest in this secondary investment group. The Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund is trying to purchase all of golf. They've already got LIV. They wanted to take control of the PGA Tour monetarily, and then other entities like John Henry and this PGA investment fund said, ho, we're going to make sure the PGA has something to come to the table with here. And they started investing a bunch of money. And apparently Wick Grossbeck is one of those investors. But he needs money to do that, like a lot of money, because you're trying to give the PGA Tour enough money to sit at the table with the Saudis and
good luck
and be able to negotiate a deal. And so for that, you need money, and for that, Wick needs money.
Right. So the idea is that, like, basically it's a Wall Street situation where they're investing in something just so it can be taken apart and that they can profit from it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that's exactly what he wants to do with his money. I mean, you're standing in front of the city that you grew up in, and at a parade, and while everyone's celebrating you, and that I can assure you that this is not what he wants to do. I don't know, but I would imagine it's embarrassing, because it's kind of embarrassing. I thought Wick Grossbeck, I just thought it was his team. I thought that he made the money and that he, like the dude from the Hawks. Or the dude from Fangraphs that owns the 76ers.
At the very least,
or Robert Kraft. I thought he was one of these guys that made all his money.
Had his own business, made his money, invested it in the Celtics.
Right, and so you just assume, and not taking anything away from the guy, the championship is a championship, but then it comes out that your dad's like, hey, I'm old, you got to sell this stuff. There's more, and he's an only child, I think.
I thought he was at the least like one of 2 or 3 owners. Him, Pagliuca, someone else, but Wick was the guy.
Wick is the majority guy. Pagliuca is one of the minority guys who now wants to be the guy.
It's not. It's Irv.
But Pagliuca is his only kid, and so he's really, but he's got, I don't know what this family consideration is. It's just like the dad just like, screw you.
How much are they going to get? That's the question. Now, they're going to sell it. How much?
Let's talk about possible price. You bought the team for $360 million.
Let's think about that for a second.
Yeah, that was 2002.
Oh,
your dad bought the team for
$360 in 2002.
And then let you play with
$360 million. Okay.
And that's without the building.
When you were in your early 40s, when he was like 41.
Yeah.
In 2002, I saw a valuation the other day of $5 billion. The Commanders, obviously, in the NFL went for $6 billion. That's the most ever paid. What do you think the Celtics are going to go for?
I can't say. I don't know is the answer. That's why I can't say. I know it's going to be, there's been a lot of inbound interest, obviously. You can't buy these things. You can't buy these teams at the top. You can buy them at the bottom. You can buy them with a long rebuild. We are poised to go after another championship and be a real contender. We're poised. We're bringing everybody back. I would think there'd be interest because people would be able to start being involved in something that is at the top of the world, not at the bottom.
Yeah, but the thing is that you're going to have to pay a state tax on the team, and if you sell it for more than it's valued at, you're going to have to pay the estate tax on that. So I don't know how they avoid estate tax by selling the team. It just seems like the dad is having sport at his son's expense. Barry Siegel says that Felger City has 3 sisters, not according to what I see. What I see is that unless they're adopted or something, is that Irv's got 1 kid, Wick, born 1961. Yep. Joe, go ahead.
Hi, thanks, guys. First off, I'm not an accountant and I'm not an attorney, so I want to get that out there. But the estate tax on a capital gain of $4.5 billion, assuming the team sells for 4.8, that's a huge, huge number that has to be filed and paid within 9 months to both the state and the federal government. So getting these affairs in order is absolutely paramount. I just went through this, and let me tell you, you don't want to be in a distressed sale where you have to come up with the cash. Otherwise, you're going to get. Otherwise, you're owing to the IRS,
sure,
and to the state. And so I absolutely get the 89-year-old father saying, "I need to get my affairs in order. Let's do it in the way that is economically feasible and have the liquidity to pay the taxes without distress selling the team." That's what I think is happening.
Yeah, but don't you think if you're Wick, this is kind of a kick in the nuts because the timing of it?
Sure, no doubt, absolutely no doubt about that. There's never a good time, although this is probably the best time to sell. Buy low, sell high.
No, I get that, but first of all, like I would imagine that from a business perspective, maybe this is the best decision. But if you're Wick Grossbeck, I mean, what else are you going to do with your money? Like,
I get that.
This is the pinnacle of what you could achieve with your money as a local kid, the fan of the team. I mean, to literally have millions of people celebrate you and in the streets is what else are you going to buy? What else can money buy?
And it's proven to be this valuable investment.
Right. It's not going to go down in value, right? I can understand.
As investments go, this is perfect. Not only are you in at the pinnacle, you have cost certainty with all these guys lined
Joe,
up
you're
the next
saying
3 years.
If his dad, who's 89, dies and the team is valued at how many $1 billion, the estate tax, Wick's going to have cash for that estate tax, and that you want to get your affairs in order. I understand all of that. It just seems like a big kick in the nuts to have to go on national television. And go, my dad's making me sell the team.
Yeah, no disagreement. No disagreement with that. No disagreement. But I get why they. When I heard it, I said, "Oh yeah, this is." I get
it that it's the right business decision. I completely understand that. I don't believe it. I don't doubt the business acumen of billionaires. I assure you. But I do think that from a personality perspective, is that this is why you bought the team. Like, what is happening now, and then to have it undercut and go, "Why are you selling it?" And it's like, "Well, I don't own it." Like, that's not great. At least it doesn't sound great. Maybe he doesn't care. Maybe he's like a Buddhist and just doesn't care about any of this, and he's much more acclimated to life than I am. But I wouldn't enjoy it. I'm not taking anything away from the guy either, but it just sounds like his dad's making him sell the team. He's a 61-year-old guy who's at the height of his powers, and now it's kind of like, it's not really mine. All right, we'll be back. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
We were just talking about the Celtics. They made some news yesterday. They officially announced the signing of first-round draft pick Baylor Shireman to his rookie 4-year contract and the re-signing of J.D. Davis into another 2-way deal. Both of those guys, second-round pick Anton Watson and Jaden Springer, are all members of the Celtics Summer League team that'll play in Las Vegas later this week. Game 1 is Saturday against Miami. Possible Celtics target Daniel Tice has agreed to a one-year contract to play in New Orleans. The University of Connecticut has signed head coach Danny Hurley to a 6-year contract extension worth $50 million. And the Red Sox had last night off. They open up a 3-game series at Fenway Park tonight against Oakland. Brian Bayo gets the start. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by L&F Electrical Services. Don't spend another summer suffering from the heat. Have a mini split system installed by L&F Electrical Services and keep your home cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Visit lfelectricalservice.com. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8 o'clock.
Up.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, making every moment more with FanDuel. I went very late on the last break. I will take responsibility for that. Wick Grossbeck, I am very fascinated by this because even John, who has been paid by the Celtics, did not know Wick Grossbeck was the beneficiary of his father's, first and foremost, his father's money. And I can't find that he has any siblings. I cannot find that other than from Barry Siegel from Mr. Sids, who sent it from Forbes, which I think is AI. I think it's AI. I think Forbes.com basically is AI right now, which is, and I know from being written about in AI, just Google my net worth, and it's a collection of random facts about other people. Because sometimes I get sent that by people. But the idea, A, that he has to sell it now, which cannot be good for him. He cannot like that. And B, that he has this pipe dream that he's going to maintain control of the team after selling it for billions of dollars. Like, if I bought the stake of the team, even if it was just 49%, and I was giving him billions of dollars, and he was like, I want to still run it, I would be like, well, no, I'm walking away from the table. I'll buy a team I can run. Like, why would I want you to run it? Like, if I'm buying the share of it.
Yeah, if I'm Steve Pagliuca and I've been the minority owner for all this time, and I am awarded, I submit the highest bid, and I've watched you and step in the spotlight for the last 20 years, my turn.
Well, what if you
turn.
What if you don't really care about it, and is it possible that, like, you could go, like, dude, I'll let you run it, just give me, like, a little bit of a break? Like, if you give me a break on this, I'll let you run it.
That's certainly a possibility.
The league, like,
sure.
Would that be allowed by the league? Like, can you make it seems like if I own it, I could do whatever I want.
Professional sports, there's always a way to get the right person to be in charge. Like,
because that Pagliuca guy it seems like everyone speaks very highly of him. I am telling you the truth. It's like, I'm not kissing his ass because they're a partner. I mean, obviously, I've been telling you, I think it's very embarrassing for Wick Grossbeck, what's going on right now. Not very embarrassing, but not ideal. I shouldn't say very embarrassing, not ideal. And look, he's achieved way more in his life without his father than I ever will. So let's get that out of the way. He's probably much more intelligent than I am. All of these things. But that Pagliuca guy, but that would be really the smartest thing. If you were like, all right, dude, if you like this so much and it's like so hard for you to let go of, I'll let you. Sure. Yeah, sure. Say you run the thing and, give me this deal. And behind the scenes, I'm actually running it. But if it makes you happy, like, you can say you're running it. That would be the ideal situation. Because look, Wick Grossbeck was a good owner. He was a good face of the franchise. They won a couple titles with him.
Yeah, there can always be a backroom deal. Like when John Henry bought the Red Sox, he did bid the highest bid.
Right.
I mean, it was just Dolan did. So there are ways to get things done.
Oh, I wish Dolan was the owner. Boy, everyone who complains about John Henry, imagine if you had Dolan.
Oh, man.
The blues concerts that would be happening, the dumb white guy blues concerts that be happening.
All the players required to sit in. I know you're coming off a long road trip, but I got a concert in the building tomorrow. I want you there.
Why does that lunatic want all that lunatic? Dolan just wants all this crap so he can be ridiculed.
No.
But that's the thing. Is that if I'm Wick Grossbeck and I just had the high of this parade where like over 1 million people in the town I'm from for the team that I love came out to celebrate me, and now a week later my dad's like, hey, listen, I know you're in your 60s, but I got to get my affairs in order, and now I want you to get on TV and sell this thing. Yeah, like, I don't want that. Because that's what money's for, right? Like, what if you are that type of personality, what more can you do with your money? Like, seriously, like, we're all going to die, right? like, and your family's taken care of. Like, he's got kids; they're going to be taken care of no matter what. For generations, the Grosbecks will be taken care of, unless someone, I can't imagine a scenario they're not. So, like, whatever you do financially,
builds a casino and nuclear fusion plant.
You make a Caligula, yeah, right. You could be like Guccione, who we covered extensively in the 6 o'clock hour.
Yeah, check the podcast.
Yeah, check the podcast for that. Yeah, that was on me. I'm fascinated by the man. But so you're taking care of. So, like, really, at that point, think about it. What is money for?
Yeah, and I don't know if embarrassment is the word I would use, Fred, but it's got to be disappointing. You're at the highest of highs right now. You've won the championship. You've set out, to not only, rebuild this team a couple of times, but you've actually done it and succeeded with two totally different groups. And now you've set yourself up for long-term success with these guys under contract for years. And now you're in a position, that you're forced to. I gotta cede control either to Pagliuca, who apparently has about half the team right now, or close to it in terms of the ownership stake. He's got a lot, but the amount of money that the teams are going for, and the idea that this Saudi thing. It's already popped up once in the conversation with what the money is at stake with the golf thing, but they can invest up to 20% of a sports team franchise right now. So they can't take a controlling interest. But if the Saudis come in and say, "Hey, for our 20%, we're willing to put up $2 billion," doesn't that drive the entire sale price up if you can go to
sure, but if the idea is that just you're making money, then what are you going to use? My point is this: is that that you've achieved basically the height of what your money can get you. Like, you've been a crowd of
There's
it's why
no
people,
better way to invest your money than what you have done.
It's like why guys become dictators, right?
Yeah.
Like, you've had a city literally come out to celebrate at your feet. As you rode by on a duck boat, the people of your city have come out and celebrated for you. Like, any deal you make with the Saudis or any more wealth you accumulate ultimately is just going to be given to someone else at the ultimate time of your death. So, like, really, what else do you want to do with this money? Like, you can keep making more of it as sport, but like, you've achieved the pinnacle of the success if that's what you like. If that's what you were looking for, if that's your personality, to be, adulation of the city you grew up in, the adulation of millions of people, for that's what you've done with your wealth there. I mean, what else are you going to do with it?
I mean, on top of a 1,200% investment return after spending $360 million and having it be worth $5 billion.
Yeah, I know, but John, okay,
no, your point
but,
is
but,
good.
Right,
I'm
you know what I'm saying?
This is on top of that.
No, I know what I'm saying, but like, okay, I'm 61, 63 years old, and I have billions and billions of dollars. Really, what's my lifestyle going to be any different? Like, unless my goal is to, like, cure cancer or something, right?
Sure.
Or like create cold fusion, like I don't know what else unless you have these really altruistic intentions, there's really no benefit to anybody that you're ever going to have any genetic, relation to, really, that comes from this. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it makes sense financially, but I can't imagine he likes it. All right, when we come back, it is this summer. There's not a lot going on in sports, and that means it's time that we bring you behind the scenes on the air. We will have that for you in just a moment.
Doing it live.
This is Boston's home for sports. WBC-FM and HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub.
A Beasley Media Group station.
Sports Hub headlines.
The Celtics just won a championship, but the business of the offseason is underway. Yesterday, the team officially announced the signing of first-round draft pick Baylor Shireman to his rookie 4-year contract.
Yeah, it means a lot, obviously, being fresh to Boston, and just want to get, out into the community. Obviously the community supports us a lot here, and so anytime, we can give back and, like you said, put a smile on, kids' faces, that's really what it's all about.
The team has also signed former second-round draft pick J.D. Davidson to another two-way deal. Those two guys, this year's second-round pick Anton Watson and last year's second-rounder Jordan Walsh, are all on the Summer League team that'll play at least 4 games in Las Vegas over the next couple of weeks. Game 1 is Friday afternoon against Miami. In other NBA news, possible Celtic target Daniel Tice has agreed to a 1-year, $3 million contract with New Orleans. UConn has signed head coach Danny Hurley to a 6-year, $50 million contract extension. Red Sox had last night off. They play Oakland at Fenway Park tonight. And Keegan Bradley has been named the captain of the U.S. Ryder Cup team that'll play next year. Tiger Woods reportedly offered the job first and then turned it down. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Eastern MedTech. Eastern MedTech of New England has the widest selection of CPAP supplies, all in stock and available to ship immediately. Visit easternmedtech.com. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
You want to talk sports? We want to talk sports.
Squeeze the chicken and open the mouth.
It's like we were meant for each other.
This is why you need us.
98.5 The Sports Hub. You're listening to Toucher and Hardy.
Let's talk radio show per se. Like, for instance, yesterday on a national show, I heard people complaining about the All-Star game uniforms in the Major League Baseball. They were complaining that the players don't wear their home uniforms anymore. They don't wear the team uniforms.
Yep.
Which I thought was it. I was like, okay, I guess that used to happen. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know, like how that would make you pick up a call and feel like you need to express that to a stranger, or to thousands of strangers. But that's the kind of thing that's going on. So Hardy, this is a time where creative minds can be allowed to roam.
Well, or forced to in this case, because it is the summer season, and even the Red Sox weren't in action last night, so there's very little sports-wise to talk about. So what we need are segments, Fred, and we need bits, as we call them. So this is the time where we will pitch ideas to you and Wallach live on the air, and you guys can decide whether or not these are things that you think we should be doing. Summer segments, and Lockhart and I have come up with a few what we think are really killer ideas that would not only just get us through the summer, but these are things that could, continue on for months, years, regardless of how busy the sports world is.
Right. So if after the show every day, before and after the show, we meet, but after the show is more of a point to, it's always been, even before this incarnation of the program, it's always been a time to create. Everyone's a little tired. You let ideas go. Tyler Milliken's cousin takes control of the room. It's like Glenn Ross. He's Baldwin in it. He's going around. He's like coffees for closers while everyone's closing their eyes. He's showing off that crucifix he got at his confirmation, which is still why he says he wears it. Nonetheless, because how else would Jesus know that you love him?
Right.
Than by wearing a big sterling silver crucifix around your neck.
So again, ideas for your consideration for summer and beyond.
All right, very good.
So again, I think long term, how well could this serve us not only today, tomorrow, for years? An idea such as this one.
What do you plan on eating today? What do you plan on eating today?
Very simple. We all think about food, what we're going to eat at breakfast, lunch, dinner that night. What do you plan on eating?
All right.
Today.
That was good. When Steve Dahl, the famous broadcaster from Chicago, realized that there was ppm meters, he said, if I would have known that, I would have stopped eating on the air. So I think that was if one follows history, what are you eating today might not be
I mean, what are you going
idea.
to? Okay, so
What if you don't know too? Like, I mean,
right? But that's the segment. Hey, Wallach, you're going to grab something to eat after the show?
Yeah.
What are you thinking? What are you going to eat today?
Maybe stop for a sub. Maybe an Italian hoagie.
You're not doing that, John. You're lying.
I just did that actually. Yes,
You did.
Yes,
See?
I did.
This is good.
How often do you have?
Not a lot.
How often do you have hibachi in your life?
Once every 6 months.
Okay, because I have
Hold on,
hibachi once a
I'm
week.
writing some of these down. How often do you have
I had hibachi last night. I
That's
have
a segment.
Different themes.
And you know what's embarrassing is when you and your daughter go to hibachi and you're the only people at the table, and the guy's got to put on the show for just you two.
Oh, that's too bad.
And when you're regulars. So it's once a week in Tennessee. In Hilton Head twice. When I was with my daughter, we have gone to hibachi. I have hibachi probably 50 times a year.
I enjoy the whole show. I enjoy the volcano through the onion.
I know every step of it,
Yeah.
and I know the jokes. The kid with the pants pulled down peeing is not surprising me.
That's
What do you?
I
what
will
do you
not
do?
have the sake.
I know they try and squirt the sake in your mouth, and I took it once by accident. And
Oh,
I'm like,
Jesus, Hardy!
Well, I
you
didn't
got
swallow
that. Well,
Spit it into my water glass.
Yeah, did you just spray it, spit take it, Furley style at him?
Well, safe to say that this bit is going to continue, and this is one that will be Dan
Got
benchmark
momentum.
it.
Got
All right?
momentum on this
Benchmark
one.
it.
Absolute benchmark.
Now, this one I have to admit certainly has more of a summer vibe to it.
Few minutes left with you, Doris. If you wouldn't mind just taking a moment out of this conversation to talk about pool and beach safety.
It's frightening.
Doris Burke gives us tips on pool and beach safety. Now, Fred, this is a work-intensive bit for you, but if Doris Burke were here right now to give us tips on pool and beach safety, that is the segment.
What? That's the Rich.
Few minutes left with you,
Is that
Doris.
Rich
If you
Eisen?
wouldn't mind just taking a moment out of this conversation to talk about pool and beach safety.
It's frightening.
It's a pool of animal innards. When one sacrifices the beast to the gods, the entrails form in almost a perfect coagulation, almost mystical pond of guts, and when the smaller parasites the maggots start attacking the meat, it's a symphony, a dance.
Perfect. That's it. Doris Burke gives you pool and beach safety tips.
Oh, to walk the beach and find things washed ashore.
Oh.
And to investigate the insides. Ooh, what's that? That appears to have a blowhole. Let me get my buck knife out and see what's doing. I can see it's a bottom dweller for it has crustaceans in its bowels, which means it's been feeding off the bottom.
Excellent.
Well, this looks like it's been in the sun for about 4 days. Let's see how it tastes. Gamey. That's the plan. Just taste a penny.
Ew.
Nice blood.
The coppery smell.
The coppery smell of blood. The scent.
These aren't like pool and safety tips as much as it's just
it's
Doris walking the beach.
It's
but
beach safety.
I mean, the segment.
Yeah, it's just who's to say if that fellow's asleep or dead? Who am I to make that judgment? Shove a towel in his mouth and
That's
see.
right. It's up to you to investigate.
Well, I put a mirror up to his nose and I can see no breath. Time to bury the body.
Well,
I see the kids have already buried the father to his neck. It's time to finish the job.
I'm not sure about this. So I'm going to put a question mark next to Doris Burke. Pool and
Sandcastle
safety
grave.
tips.
But underneath many sandcastles lays corp.
Okay.
Is.
Question mark next to that one. All right, moving on.
Huh?
Summer segment idea number 3.
What personal health issue?
What personal health issue has you worried?
What personal
This would have been a lot funnier a while ago.
Right now.
I would have had a lot more to say. Can I tell you, though?
What personal health issue has you worried the most right now?
I can tell you that I went to the doctor yesterday as to keep my prescription that the doctor prescribed me. I had to go to the doctor. She forced me to go. Hardy, you already know this. I arrived at the doctor's office for my 3 o'clock appointment at 3 o'clock. I was brought into the doctor's office at 3:05. The people, I love the staff there. They listen to the show religiously. But I will tell you this, and they're aware of this. The doctor did not enter that room till 4:15.
Oh, boy.
And then informed me it was not a physical. So I was only had my blood pressure taken, and which was 110/70, which is very exciting for me. And then just asked me questions so I could get this prescription. So I paid to sit there for an hour and 15 minutes, only to be seen for 15 minutes. And then she questioned me on my weight loss. She said, I told you this, Hardy. I can't do it the way I did it to you. But Dr. Chen said, how much weight have you lost? She goes, you weigh 200 pounds. I said, yeah, I was 235 last time. And she goes, we'll see about that. She said, well, I'll have to check my records from my own measurements. And then she said, like, how are you drinking? I go, I haven't drank in 14 months. And she goes, not even 4th of July?
4th of July?
And not even New Year's Eve? She was very inquisitive. And I said, well, I just told you I haven't drank for 14 months. Why would I? That's quite a bold lie. Like, I mean, we've all gone to physicals. Well, maybe you haven't, but I've gone to physicals. I mean, I've lied to the doctor, but they're white lies. Like, right? Like, how much do you drink a week? Well, I don't know. Like, I might have a couple beers on a Wednesday, but it would realize you're drinking a lot more. But I wouldn't go in there and go, I haven't drank for 14 months. Like, you're not my parole officer. Yeah. Like, I would just say I would lie about the amount I'm drinking.
Well, Fred, I have to say, based on your reaction and your monologue just now, this is not in the spirit of the segment. What we're supposed to be doing is talking about our current health worries.
Well,
you're complaining about waiting at a doctor's office, you're not doing it right.
We could do a call-in calls. How's your ball bag? And people just call in with testicular issues.
Wallach, what personal health issue worries you the most right now?
I got a red spot behind my right knee. I'm a little worried about.
Is that true?
Yes, it is, actually.
And you would probably worry about everything on your body as you have been ravaged by tumors before.
Yes.
A red spot on the.
I don't know if it's a skin issue or something different.
How'd you see it? How'd you even see the back of your knee?
Well, it was itching. It was itching, so I took a look.
So it's obviously something bad. Are you going to go to the doctor for the red spot?
No.
Okay, because
cortisone. Just get some cortisone.
Yeah, topical lotion.
Or do nothing.
Topical lotion.
Or let it be.
Yeah.
Well,
let God take you the way nature intends. Don't fight the man with the sickle, child. Let him take you in his sweet grasp.
It's not a pool.
Or perhaps come to the laboratory.
Beach safety tip, Doris.
Come to the laboratory and let me.
There's no lab.
Let me see what's doing inside of that eagle.
I'm glad we shifted the attention.
Well, your heart's not beating no more. I can tell you that. It's funny. Note to self: 6 stab wounds seem to do the trick.
I'm glad we shifted the attention to John Wallach because this final bit idea is the one that I think has the most staying power, the most legs, and the one that's almost certainly going to get a yes from everybody.
Did you see that pitch of Mark Worrell? I've never seen a guy look like he was hopped up on, 25 glasses of soda.
John tries a new drug every Wednesday at 9.
Oh, this is weird, man.
One that won't mess up his beat when he's doing headlines.
Throwing tobacco from the West Coast.
John tries a new drug. Picked out by Fred.
You got a boner? I do.
One to take when he wants to play his clarinet.
I would have done this bit in Atlanta. I would have done it. I would have done it with an intern. I would have had him try a different drug every week. That's a bit that I would have done. And it would not have been, it would have been about in line of what was going on in radio in 2002.
John Wallach tries a new drug every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Now, it's picked out by Fred because it rhymed, but I think you and I should, conference on
Well,
this.
it's going to be different phases of DMT. Let's just be honest, because it's a very quick, very severe psychedelic trip.
We just study the effects as the drug takes hold of them.
Fred, I feel, this is the weirdest feeling.
This is weird, man. Never done this before. It feels so strange. I'm just hoping the head isn't misshapen, so like a big lump in front or. So strange.
What was that?
It was when you took LSD at the Wimble. It's when John was balls deep in LSD.
Tripping balls. You don't even remember. That's how bad that trip was.
Yeah, I mean, that was, believe me, you killed a guy. You ran into traffic. You caused a 5-car pileup. That would be a great bit.
John tries a new drug. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m.
Just you smoke DMT and we look at you. and then it goes up in severity until it gets to that thing that broke that comedian's brain. It took him like 5 years to get over it. It's that toad venom. DMT. Apparently, that's quite a scene. You go back to being like an atom. Like your total sense of self leaves. Like what happened? It was Neil Brennan. He smoked this toad venom DMT because he had this really good experience on DMT. He felt it was his spiritual experience. He felt that he had found God. So they said, well, there's one that's like 1,000 times more powerful. And DMT is apparently like way more intense than even like acid, like way more intense. You smoke it. He did this and he said it took him like 5 years to get over it. It screwed him up for 5 years because he said he went, and you can kind of imagine what happened. He like lost in the total sense of self. So put that in perspective, like you not only forget like who you are, but you forget that you're a human, your surroundings. Like you go back to like he puts it in Adam. So there is a point where you are like lost in infiniteness, if you can kind of conceptualize that.
Yeah.
And then you get brought back to your body and you remember that feeling and then you're kind of relearning everything again. It does not sound like something that I need to do.
But these are all things that John could do, and we could relate them to sports. You know, had we been doing this segment last year when the Aaron Rodgers ayahuasca story came out, John could have taken ayahuasca. You know, if the oil can Boyd comes up, you can try crack cocaine. That'll be your drug that week, Wednesday at 9.
What would be the most fun for him? Because all the opiates would be out the window because they would just have him not off. And especially this early in the morning. And if he did coke, he would just get chatty. And he would just be rattling off stats.
Speedballs? I don't know. Something that
Speedball just even out.
Right.
I think he'd just be in a good mood. I mean, it would just have to be heavy psychedelics. And if it was at 9 o'clock, we'd have to have him take it at 8. If it was, like acid, and then so by 9 it would be kicking him in, or we'd have him take it at 6, so he's peaking right around 9.
Okay, well, these aren't set in stone, the times and everything, but the segment is John tries a new drug.
Okay, very good. Or he just takes fentanyl every day until he gets quite a habit.
Great. All right.
All right,
Decided.
very good. Well, John, what was that from, by the way? What was the Rich Eisen Doris Burke thing from?
Fred, I feel, this is the weirdest feeling.
This is weird.
By the way, this is from John getting his head shaved.
Yes.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, that's you getting your head shaved.
remember that.
That was like that to you was like your Rosetta Stone of that was a mind-blowing experience for you.
I don't remember what
Rich
that was.
Eisen had and to answer your other question, a conversation with Doris Burke, and was manipulated to make it sound like he's asking her about pool and beach safety tips.
How did you figure that out?
I got a lot of,
Good idea.
What do you do? We all do things with the rest of our day. That's what I did with the rest of my day.
Rich Eisen exists in little 30-second snippets with celebrities where he asks them inane questions about crap they've already done. Like Anthony Michael Hall, how is it doing weird science?
Yeah.
And then you go, Can we discuss this? Let's come back and discuss this.
Do you want to do a segment on how Rich Eisen manages
like, how are these people answering these questions? Like, if I asked one of these celebrities the dumbass questions Rich Eisen asked them, they'd go tell me to go screw. Like Joe Pesci, tell me about stabbing the guy in the trunk in Goodfellas.
Yeah.
And then he'll go on, like, oh, well, it was it was a Wednesday night. And if you or I asked Joe Pesci that question, he'd be like, what is this interview? Like, what is this crap? That's the Chris Farley with Paul McCartney. What was it like being in the Beatles? Like, guys don't understand. As broadcasters, when you interview people, like, you can ask questions like that. Like, people, like, will look at you like you got 5 heads. Like, what was it like being Al Bundy? Like, he says to the Al Bundy. Like, Jesus Christ. And then they get encapsulated and put in my timeline.
That's the thing. An algorithm. Kelly Lynch, same thing. Not even a popular actor.
Yeah.
Kelly Lynch, what was it like being in Roadhouse?
Yeah, and then you're like...
Very strange.
They're like the worst questions. Yeah. All right, very good. All right, we're running so late. There's so many good ideas being thrown around. We'll be right back.
A few minutes left with you, Doris. If you...
Bow, bow, bow.
98.5 The Sports Hub. Toucher and Hardy. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Station about the Rich Eisen show, and I have nothing against Rich Eisen. I think he's a talented guy. I like his work on the combine, especially. He takes something that's very boring and he makes it. I like Rich Eisen. I think he's good. But his show, I honestly swear to God, and this isn't me feigning or being obtuse, I honestly don't know if I wanted to consume the Rich Eisen show where I would consume it, unless it was in podcast form. But if you, like us, are on an algorithm on social media, you'll see these Rich Eisen things come up, and like he'll have the dad from Step Brothers on, and he'll go at the cat. Like this will be a question at the Catalina wine mixer. Tell us about the dinosaur speech that you made, and that you don't understand that if you're talking to people and you ask them those kinds of questions, they'll like just go, "What's wrong with you?" Like, what do you mean? What did that? I did the scene.
Yeah, and we if you're a fan of that movie, you've seen the scene. You probably heard the story. He improv'd a little bit of it. What you want me to tell it again?
Exactly.
And then they gladly do it.
And I don't know, why they're doing the show. I guess I'm a little jealous. I don't know why they're doing the show because I don't know where you consume it. Like, I don't know, other than in clips on the internet. And then, B, I don't know why they've agreed to answer this inane line of questioning. Like, he has the Al Bundy fella on, and he's, like, legit asking him, like, oh, boy, you insulted Peg a lot, huh? Tell us about that. And he's like, yeah. And then he answers it in like thoroughly. Well, you know, the writers were really something, and they wrote me a lot of great things. And let me tell you a story about one of those insults. And you're like, Jesus Christ. Like, this guy, they like pre-interviewed him. They told him they obviously pre-interviewed the people.
Right.
They obviously know what they're going to say because there's no way you just go in there dry. Like, someone's going to tell you to F off. Like Adam Sandler, tell us about the tub in Billy Madison. He'd be like, all right, come on. Like, that was 40 years ago. Like, what do you want out of me? All right. By the way, the reason we're having these conversations is the summer. As I told you, I was listening to National Sports Talk Radio, and there were callers infuriated over the lack of the team uniforms during the All-Star game, which led me to thinking, hey, the All-Star game's coming up. You guys know the roster. I have not looked at the roster. I know, obviously, the Red Sox, they're on it. I know a few names. I know the Phillies are wildly represented in the National League. But we are going to go over the All-Star roster, and you were simply going to ask me if I can identify the player.
Yeah, and Wallach, feel free to chime in on this.
Okay. Wallach just kept shouting players out before the show in the spirit of the segment. The segment was, how many names can Fred name from the All-Star team? And John just started naming people on the All-Star team.
Well, let's start with some easy one. And yeah, I noticed that too. The idea of the bit was you don't know the names necessarily, and if you start naming the names in the pre-show meeting, then it could throw off the bit.
Right,
but it's fine.
Right.
Wallach, it's fine.
You're lucky I ignored him. There's some DH from Arizona that I heard, but I don't know his name. All right, here we go.
Let's start with some easy ones you should be able to get. All right, just to make you feel good.
Let me tell you this, though, in all transparency, baseball is my favorite sport. It is the sport I am around by far the most. I'm around it because of my son almost every day in the summer, and then I watch it every day. But so this is coming from a baseball fan. How many of these guys do I know? All right, here
American League starters. Okay, we're not going to the reserves in the National League.
All right,
yet, okay?
I have to figure Soto and Judge are starting.
Yes, very good. They are both starters for the American League.
Yeah, I would figure that they are starting. Okay, go ahead. Just start asking me players.
Okay. Do you want the position or the player name?
I want the player name. I think it's better the player name.
Okay, Jordan Alvarez.
Alvarez is a Houston Astro.
Very good designated hitter. He's a starter.
He's a postseason guy.
Yeah. Another easy one, Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah, he's a Baltimore Oriole.
Very good.
He's short.
Okay.
Proud of me, Johnny?
So 2 for 2.
You know what I'm doing?
I'm
flexing off a little bit.
Nice job.
I'm rounding these off. Go ahead.
Adley Rustman.
He's a catcher for the Baltimore Orioles.
Very good. Logan Gilbert.
Well, that's got to be a pitcher of some kind.
Ooh.
Of some repute.
Ooh.
That sounds like a pitcher from a bad team.
That is an American League All-Star starting pitcher.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think I have the team.
Because it's got to be a bad one. He's got to be the representative from a bad team, or he's a Cleveland Guardian.
No.
Either he's one of those Guardians.
One of those no-name Guardian fellas.
Yeah, like that Guardian team that's like all of a sudden 20 games over 500, but I can't name one player.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
Seattle?
John Wallach, well done.
Seattle's got a rotation, like a lights-out rotation of a bunch of guys I don't know.
Kirby is another guy. Logan Gilbert. They got a bunch of guys. Yeah.
Good for you.
Speaking of Kirby Yates. Who does Kirby Yates play for? He's an all-star.
Is that the name that John said? Is that the...
No.
Kirby is the last name that John was talking about. This is the guy's first name. His first name is Kirby Yates.
Kirby Yates.
He's a pitcher.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Is he a middle reliever? From the Guardians?
No.
Everything, all my guess is middle reliever for the Guardians.
Is he the Texas Rangers closer?
Wow. Jesus, Jonathan. Someone's someone's not 20 points behind in fantasy, last place in fantasy baseball like me.
Yeah, they just signed him after the season started. He became their closer.
How about Marcus Semien?
Oh, I know him. He's on Texas.
All right, very good. See, you're doing very, very well.
But I don't think that's his first All-Star game.
David Fry.
I recognize that's a pitcher. No, I don't know.
That's the guy I brought up.
Glenn Fry.
Free game.
He drums and sings.
DH for the Cleveland Guardians.
Oh, Jesus. And you say he's a 28-year-old rookie.
28-year-old rookie. Feel good story.
Feel good for who?
Salvador Perez.
I know who that is. Kansas City Chief. Oh, Kansas City Royal.
Yeah.
He's catcher. He's been in the All-Star game every year.
All right, let's go to the
Big
national.
fatso.
Let's go to the Let's go to the National League.
Very
shall
good.
We?
This should be my wheelhouse. This is I'm a National League guy.
Alec Bohm.
Okay, I don't know who it is, but I'm going to guess that's someone from Arizona because that's a team I have no knowledge of.
Starting third baseman for your Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, I don't know who he is. I've never heard of him in my life. Go ahead.
I think he's in the home run derby, too.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, I think.
I love the home run.
I wasn't going to watch, but
except
now
for when
I'm not sure. But...
Except for when we had that great debate where someone got super offended that I said if my kid got to shag balls in the All-Star game, I'd take it if he got it in the head.
That's right.
And I got so Hardy, you're unaware of this conversation. This was the dumbest conversation we might have ever had on the air. It was this time of year, and it was right after the home run derby. And in Vlad Guerrero, you know how they have the kids out in the outfield shagging fly balls, and this pussy was like, "Hey, it's like this kid. It was a travesty. This kid got hit in the head with a ball, like he missed the ball, and the kid got hit in the head." And I'm like, I guess, you know, it's gonna happen. Like if they offered like my kid a chance to be in the All-Star game, and the chances something along the lines that if they got hit in the head with a ball, it would suck, but I guess it might be worth it because you got to be on the field and it's a lifelong memory. And it became this whole thing with very angry emails to me about like what a crappy father I am and this, that, and the third for a hypothetical scenario where my point was in life you take chances. Like, you know, if you're shagging balls at the All-Star game. Do you remember how dumb this conversation was and how like intense it got?
I do.
If you're shagging balls,
people were legit.
Look, like they were mad at me.
Angry.
It's one of the strangest things in my career.
Yeah.
Really, it is. I understand a lot of times I'm deliberately like saying things in a way that could piss someone off. It's kind of the point. But this was just honestly like, if you are a kid and you're in the outfield and balls are going and you're trying to get in front of them and catch them, there is a chance that you will get injured. And inherently, I would take that chance because, all right, the question is this: if your son was or daughter was your kid, they said, "Do you want him to shag flies at the home run derby? They can go on the field at Fenway and shag flies." What would you say?
Yeah.
What would you say?
Yeah.
So inherently, are taking a chance. I imagine there's many waivers you have to sign. I would imagine there's all these things.
Sure.
So I was like, I guess if my kid, and then like they're doing, people are like, that ball exit velocity of 100 miles an hour, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, do your kids play sports? Like, there's a chance they could rip their knee apart. There's a chance they could hit their head and die. Like, all I'm saying is that if the worst thing in the world that ever happens to you is you get hit in the head
With a baseball,
like, I mean, live with it.
Not a hot shot back to the mound either. It's
No,
like
that was
outfield.
exactly my point. Like, you're in the outfield. Like, all right, like, it hit you. Like, I get it. Like, it sucks.
It's gonna hurt. You might even get the knot on your head.
Thank you. I wish you were here. Because it got into this, devolved into this like crazy thing where I became this like absentee father that like didn't care about anything. It was very, very strange.
It was nuts, and it lasted more than one day. I remember that.
I was inundated with like garbage
This was
about
like a
what
2 or 3
garbage
day
father
thing. I
I was,
remember that.
and I'm not changing the conversation. This was what the conversation was. It was Vlad Guerrero, and I said I'd let my kid do it, and I think it's worth the experience. And if he got hit in the head, that would suck, but it was part of the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, it's part of the risk of doing it. And it became this whole thing, hachi-machi. Talk about leading me into the fire. That was completely unnecessary. I got walked onto the edge of the cliff and kicked off. Like, it just kept getting worse, and I'm like trying to explain myself, and nope. And I'm like, Jesus, you're feeding raw meat to the people. You son of a bitch. You know what you're doing.
It is a danger faced every day by the likes of outfielder Jackson Merrill, All-Star, who plays for the.
Oh Jesus, I know who he is. Jackson Merrill. I recognize that name.
I don't know who Jackson Merrill.
But I don't know who he plays for.
San Diego Padres. Reserve, but All-Star.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard of him.
There you go.
He was a big prospect, I believe. Was he a big prospect, Lockhart? Yeah.
You guys did well.
Look, you're not going to know everyone. There is, but I mean, there is star power. I mean, you have Judge and Soto. You have Bryce Harper. I mean, there are a new generation of stars in this league.
Harper may not play.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Why'd they pull Sale yesterday?
I don't know the answer to that. I didn't look. That's a good question. I'd
Sale
love to
was
see him. How
Sale was-
poetic would it be if he actually started for the National League this year?
Yeah, I mean, you could use him. You could certainly use a lefty starter and a top of the rotation starter at that. But who would have known? But I guarantee you he gets hurt. If he's not hurt, he's going to get hurt. All right, we'll be back. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headline.
We are Toucher and Hardy. And young Nicholas is, when he's not filling out Tyler Milliken's cousin's dumb thing for Emerson, he is making videos like a top-notch producer over here. He's making big-time videos. You can see him at Toucher and Hardy. At Fred Toucher. You're on it. I follow you on Instagram, Hardy. I keep forgetting to give yours out. What is your Instagram?
I think it's Hardy985.
You're not very active on it.
No.
Yeah. It's the only one I use on the account. I can't be on the Twitter.
It's a very good man who understands his limitations.
Well, it took quite a while,
Yes.
John, for me to get to this place.
There was a lost weekend.
That, like, space. Because at best, Twitter's dumb because it's just instant reactions to things. Like, they're never clever. Like, and I guess if you're watching something, everyone's watching something at the same time, it makes sense. But when you, like, go through it, like, in the morning and you see what everyone tweeted from the night before, it's just so dumb. It's like holy cow, or like, John Cena. Like, it's like, all right. Like, it's never been anything clever, but there was too much immediacy, too much access. My thoughts need to be siphoned through many, many things before they can be released on that kind of for a permanent medium. Like my voice now, it devolves into the ether.
Right. You don't feel the same sense of.
Nothing looks worse than your words written. Like nothing looks worse. Like everything you say on the air, there's intonation and like in context to it.
Correct.
And every
the
time
sarcasm comes across.
Right. And so like every time something like that you say is written about, like by someone who once wishes ill upon you, like a awful announcing guy who would be responsible for my death if I were to be killed, just know that. And even if they deny it, I have said it. So it exists.
So it's true.
So it's true to my family. My family will blame you, awful announcing guy, for my death. Should I be, because there was a police guy here, because my life was threatened. And that's on your head. If you want to get down in the muck and mire and get people all riled up, the consequences lie on your head. You are not guilt-free. I really want them to know that. You tell the awful announcing people that I would blame them for my death. And then they could go, oh, that's ridiculous. But is it? If I believe it and my family believes it, it's true in some way. So if you want to deal and get people all riled up at everyone and get them all upset and something happens, that's on you.
Do you mean any death? What if you die of a heart attack?
It could be due to the stress from the people.
Wow.
No. It would be more a direct killing. Was threatened. But I guarantee you, like when they deliberately rob people up because they're doing it for clicks, when they do that, I bet you that 95% of the people that they do that to get death threats. And they're a direct result of what they said, but no one would. But like I just told you, a clip from a show, your words written are like they're deliberate. We all know they're deliberately doing it.
I don't feel
clicks.
the need to get it exactly right when I'm saying it on the air, but when I put it on Twitter or Instagram or anything, yes, there is that need because there's a permanence to it. It's going to be there. Someone's going to screenshot it, even if you delete it.
They would be being completely disingenuous if they weren't saying our business is to get people pissed off at people.
Yeah.
Like, but they're a conduit to that.
Yeah.
So you are responsible for people getting death threats. And if someone was to follow through on one of those death threats, you are partially responsible for their death. You absolutely are. And you can navigate it anyway and logically sort it out in your own brain, and that's up to you. But know that in the universe, it exists that people believe you are responsible for someone dying. And whatever spiritual plane that's on or whatever karmatic thing comes back to you, I believe that would have to weigh on you in some way, shape, or form. Enough that you would have to do mental gymnastics to keep it out of your head. So I just want that out there.
Yeah.
Write that down. I blame you. If I get shot or stabbed,
Why don't you write
it's
that?
your fault.
Why don't you write that on Twitter?
Because no one would see it.
Reactivate your account.
Is that possible?
I don't know.
I think I've taken care of that.
I need someone to give me an Instagram tutorial. because I lost Facebook. I don't get it anymore.
Facebook is terrible.
I don't understand.
Facebook makes me feel old.
But there are like really old people on Facebook navigating it, and they know all the tools and how to post and the wall and all that stuff. I don't get it between the messaging and the wall stuff, and I don't get it anymore. So I haven't done it in years and years. But there are things on Instagram. Like the only thing I really do on Instagram is I will accept something that Nick creates, and it shows up like you know, as one of my posts or on my stories.
Yeah, that is a result of me being really bad at the internet. Is that why it's so easy to do that, and that you just click on the accepting it is because I couldn't figure out how to collaborate on any of that stuff until they really dumbed it down. The Satchowicz kid had to get involved for the whole thing. Whatever the hell his name is. The kid that every time he's around is internet.
But you can do other stuff on Instagram. I don't know how to do it. People say, well, why don't you just put it on a story? I'm like, I don't know how to do that. And sometimes I'll hit the wrong button when I open Instagram, and I'm looking at my own face, a live like camera view of my face, and it's want me to go. I'm like, oh no, I don't
no
want
interest
to
in that. No, sir.
Because Fred did that once.
No,
you did a little Instagram live, didn't you?
I've done Instagram live.
Wasn't Ambient Fred in Instagram?
No, that was Twitter. That was Twitter. That was on Twitter. I think that was before Instagram existed. No, it was certainly Twitter. I know for a fact it was Twitter. I remember it well.
And you just posted it?
Uh-huh. Or it was live on Twitter. It was not Instagram. Instagram. No, it was definitely Twitter. It was We're in Brighton. It was before Instagram.
I was here for this one. Yes.
Oh yeah.
I was here for this.
Well, the next day I did the show with my shirt off, and we were on TV in an act of defiance.
I remember that too. I don't remember them back to back like that.
I came in
that.
and I'm like, I gotta own this. Like I did it because it was the next day. Like I did it the night before the show, so I was like, I gotta own this. Like I gotta own it because I mean, I didn't do anything wrong. It was embarrassing. I was on Ambien, and was acting the fool. But it was funny because I went to my wife at the time. I went upstairs and I went like, what I just posted. I knew I had done something dumb, and I'm like, look at what I just posted. And my wife was like, Fred, get that down now. She was very reasonable with this stuff. She was like, get it down now. And so I took it down, but oh no.
That lives forever. Yeah.
I mean, it might have been up party for 5 minutes and captured by all the right people. And I deserved it. I mean, I would have captured it too and played it. Yeah. I mean, that was funny. I mean, in retrospect, it was funny. It's probably not the greatest behavior, but it was funny. Be Real says, Hardy certainly knows how to use Instagram to promote free golf stuff. He used another term for it, but I'm being nice.
Did he say that to me or just to you? No, just to you.
Yeah, just to me. A friend of mine says Kendra would be a perfect person to teach Hardy on Instagram. Wade into those waters. Yeah. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Stay tuned for...
98.5, the Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Listen to it, laugh at it, get mad at it, agree with it, argue about it. It is Boston Sports. Boston Sports. And it is all we do. 98.5, the Sports Hub. You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Brought to you by FanDuel, and I've been told even the ill can get all that sex appeal that Wallet's delivering.
Ooh.
So you're healing the sick currently at one of the great hospitals in the world.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you. Oh, you a shy one, aren't you? So cute.
Nerd bear.
Why are you laughing so much, Hardy? Is
I
it so beyond your scope to think that people might think I'm giving off some sex appeal here?
No, not at all. Not
All right.
at all.
That's what we're known for. Two things about the summer that I want to discuss. That these women that are on morning television have to put on gowns at 4 a.m. on a 90-degree day.
Freaking ball gowns.
Like, I mean, they're really dressed up, and I never notice it in the winter, but in the summer, I'm like, that's got to suck. Like, the anchors have to, like, when they stand up at the end, they're wearing, like, cocktail, like, whatever the hell it's called. I mean it in the nicest way. Like, they're wearing, formal attire.
They look so much nicer than anyone else does at this time of year.
And
no one else is dressing up like this unless they're going to a wedding.
Yeah, and we make more money than them too, which is we get to wear this. And the second thing is, how does everyone around here have a summer home? That, like, regardless of profession or income, everyone is gone.
Yeah,
like even
they're
our
on
own
Lake
Dan O'Brien.
Winnipesaukee, they're in Stowe, Vermont. They're on the Cape. They're everywhere.
Okay, so there are three methods. Number one,
like me.
You get it passed down to you by your parents who had a Cape house in the 50s.
Wouldn't you sell that in 10 seconds and make that? I mean, it's $2 million in your pocket.
I'm just telling you, they get it passed down to them and they just have it and they like it and they use it. They bought it 20 years ago. Like you remember Jason, our engineer, back at the old building, like BCN.
Yeah, I do actually.
Like he bought a place down in Dennis, like way before he had any business buying a second home. I think he had a condo in Southie, but he had the foresight to buy a place in Dennis, and he always, was very humble about it. He's like, yeah, it's just a really small, crappy house. But now, look up real estate in Dennis, Mass. See what any house will cost you there now. So
yeah, but
he did it a long time ago, and now he's got it. And then, I guess there are a handful of people who are still buying them today. But I'm not getting anything handed down to me by my parents, not from, that's not happening. And 20 years ago, Fred, you could have done it. I could have done it, but it was tough when you're trying to like build your career and you're starting to save for your kids' college and you're doing all the other stuff to go and blow the money on a Cape house. I just couldn't make myself do it.
Well, it would be the biggest thing that you bought. I mean, the idea that you could do it.
Right.
Doesn't, I mean, you could do a lot of stuff. Like you could
buy a Lamborghini.
Yeah, for instance, you could drive around in a Ferrari. Like if you really wanted to, you could finance a Ferrari and you could technically afford it. But it is amazing to me how it wasn't like this in Detroit or Atlanta. And I guess it's like this in New York City too. But like this town just goes away. Like everyone's got a place in Nantucket, which is ridiculous. The Cape, which is still expensive, or Martha's Vineyard, which is, you can see Alan Dershowitz playing naked volleyball in the town where they don't allow alcohol. It's red pubis floating around the beachfront. You know that's true, right? That I can say that about a lawyer, and this is no threat of libel. Alan Dershowitz, the Dersh, as we know him from Too Much Tuna.
Yes.
A man who straddles both sides of the political spectrum. He was a very liberal Harvard guy, and then he became very conservative. he has a red afro, much like Shaughnessy, but he frolics naked on the beaches of Martha's Vineyard.
This is Aquina, I believe.
Yeah. There's a nude beach where the Dersh lets loose. And he's no young spring chicken.
Nothing wrong with that.
I didn't say there's anything wrong with it. I do think it's very humorous that Alan Dershowitz is nude in public.
Well, would you rather have him nude or wearing his...
So shake that ass in daddy underwear.
I'd rather have him nude. Walk around in dirty skivvies.
Well, daddy underwear does bring back recollections of my father wearing tidy whities. I talked about to my mother about that. I'm like, because I always tell my kids whenever they complain about anything, I go, well, my father would yell at me when a kid came over because he had to put pants on. Or no, he had to close his robe. And I was talking to my mom about it, and she started laughing. She's like, I don't even remember your father having a robe. I just remember him walking around in tidy whities. And I don't know about your father's, but my father's bed was a buffet, an ashtray, and a bar. His bed, my mom got out of that thing quick. So her half of the bed became a charcuterie plate, an ashtray, and a wet bar. Like my father, had a bottle of gin, 2 packs of Merritts, and 2 salami sandwiches on that bed. And he came home from work, and he was just like, shut the door and was like, get out.
Get into bed.
Yeah, he just got into bed because he would work, he had to travel and stuff, and so he would come home at 4 a.m. and just go into bed, and then he would be in bed until a weird time. And then if I had a friend over, he'd be like, I'd go, Dad, Dave's over. I'd be like, damn it, Freddie! Ah! I'd be like, no, because I'd hear, or a friend would come over, and then I'd hear, I'd be, oh, he's awoken. And then I'd be like, Dad, don't come downstairs without clothes.
You had to remind him of this.
Well, I told you my friend Charles, I was over at his house, and his dad was just naked at the kitchen table.
Yes, you have told that story.
Reading the newspaper.
Yep.
And he had a brother and a sister, an older brother and sister, and they had friends over, and he would just sit there naked. He didn't care. He said, and then I told you about the other friend. We knocked on his door, and his dad must have been having sex. But he came to the door with a very similar necklace to Tyler Milliken's cousin, big gold chain. His is metal. Just
well, gold's a metal.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
A precious metal. That's just like tin. But he came with a Sergio Cicchini tracksuit top, a big old Star of David, and no pants or underwear to the door. And he went, "What's up, guys?" His son is now a sommelier at a Manhattan restaurant.
Oh.
It tracks. It has the same haircut as his father, Gordon Gekko.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good
You
one.
can pull that off.
Well, if you're a sommelier, you either got to be completely shaved, bald.
Yeah, you got to be bald, or you got to be Pat Riley, Gordon Gekko.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
And spend all your money on suits.
Okay, so let me ask you this: you could, you fall into some money and you have to spend it on a second home right now. Where are you buying it? And it doesn't have to be the Cape, Winnipesaukee.
I wouldn't buy it in the Northeast. If I did, I'd buy it in Newport because I like Newport better than those other places. A, it's much easier to get to.
Okay.
And B, I don't understand why people don't like it. And it's way more, I guess this wouldn't factor into it, but it's got to be cheaper than the other places.
You think?
It's way cheaper than Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard. That's for a fact. If you bought a place 5 miles from, 3 miles from the beach in Newport, there's regular families that live there. It's not like it. Everyone thinks of Newport and they think of the America's Cup, but it's like a regular town. Newport proper, maybe.
Yeah.
But there's we've rented Airbnbs in neighborhoods with regular, even very middle class neighborhoods because they had a pool. And I'd still buy that. You got to get in there for under $500,000. I bet you could get into one of those towns. What are you looking at, Hardy? Tell me what you got.
I'm looking at Zillow, Newport, Rhode Island.
Yeah, you're walking distance from the beach. What you're looking at, you pan that thing out about 3 clicks.
How far up do you want to go? Do you want to get closer to Middletown? I mean, where do you want to go?
South of Middletown, but up where you're up by the top there. Click there.
That's a lot for $240,000.
Yeah, that's all right. That's $500,000.
Oh, there's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square foot house for $795.
Yeah, that's cheaper than Newton.
Are there beaches in Newport?
Yes, there's several, and there's some that are almost Caribbean.
First beach, second beach.
Those have waves where you can surf,
Yeah.
and then there's Gooseberry Beach, which is a placid cove that reminds me of the beaches of the Caribbean. So I like Newport.
Where are you going, Wallach? New Jersey? You're going to go buy
a house in Ocean City? I could do that.
Why don't you get a place in Margate and finally just acquiesce? You went to Camp Young Judea. I don't know why you eschew Margate. I don't know why you don't go there.
Yeah.
He turns his back on his people.
Just go a couple, like 10 minutes north. That's where it is.
Doesn't some member of your family have a place in Maine?
Yes, his father.
My father has a place in Maine.
You know who has a place in Maine?
Close to the beach, a couple blocks off the beach, but
Hardy, who has a place in Maine in this very building with us right now?
Oh, geez, I'm trying to think. I mean, could it be...
Could it be a man by the name of...
Dan the Wagon Man?
That's right.
Dan the Wagon Man, our own Dan O'Brien.
.com.
He's facilitating this.
Daddy, hurry up. Did you bring the cooler and the umbrella? Mommy, what's wrong with Daddy?
Your father is weak, a weak man with soft erections. It's a wonder he was able to provide the seed for either one of you.
Can someone help me?
Wow, who is that?
Dan the Wagon Man, up here in York Beach, Maine. Dan the Wagon Man.
Ooh, that's quite a wagon you're dragging.
Our wagons are easy to use and have extended storage space to hold everything you need. And so much more.
Great, we want to buy one right now.
Oh, no. You rent a wagon from Dan the Wagon Man.
For the day, for the week, for the month, for the whole damn summer.
The 10-inch wheels keep everything moving along nicely.
No, we about your big 10-inch.
10-inch wheels. Check us out today at danthewagonman.com. Dan the Wagon Man keeps you out of the sand.
Thanks, Dan the Wagon Man.
Do not use Dan the Wagon Man wagons if you're allergic to PVC, plumber's tape, or commercial plumbing glue. Do not contact Dan the Wagon Man between the hours of 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. Do not refer to Dan the Wagon Man as Top 40 Shorty. Do not, under any circumstances, ask Dan the Wagon Man about acoustic sunrise or trips to Hawaii.
So Dan got an email from a woman who said what exactly, Dan?
Heard that commercial on the air, thought it was a real commercial, and perhaps this person also writes jingles and said, yeah, it's kind of creative, but it's very confusing.
Is it confusing because
I'm confident that I can create an amazing jingle. Competitive fee, of course. Will be very effective for you. Please call me. She has followed up 3 times.
Whoa! You know, was it the inexplicable use of a Southern accent for a place in Maine from a man who does not have a Southern accent?
Probably is what did it.
Oh, no. Dan the Wagon Man.
Y'all.
Hey, y'all.
Dan the Wagon Man.
Dan the Wagon Man.
The 10-inch wheels keep everything moving along nicely.
Yeah. I don't know why.
What did we give him on his midterm grade?
We gave him a
Gave him
TMC
5s across the board.
All
We gave him
5s and a 4.
1-4.
Yeah.
That's what we gave him. Tyler Milliken's cousin.
He's in there fist bumping with Tyler Milliken's cousin's cousin.
Oh, yeah. Are they allowed to occupy the same space at the same time?
Yeah, it's too much sex appeal. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, I just want to let you know, Fred, I agree with you. That's one of the first times I've agreed with you in a while, but you got to shut your mouth about Newport. If you want to get stuck in traffic like you do on the Cape, then keep running your mouth about Newport. I love it, too. Keep it a secret.
There you go. I tell you.
Route 4 is no fun.
Yeah.
Getting off at 95.
I'll tell you that he wants to keep it. He wants to keep it private.
Yeah.
He likes it that
I'm
way.
saying it's good now.
Yeah. There you go. All right. We will be back. It's the big email segment. You've all been contributing, and we will share your wisdom with the world.
You're listening to to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
You know, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. You can email JON at 985thesportshub.com. You can email Hardy at 985thesportshub.com. TOUCHER at 985thesportshub.com. And we do this every day at this time. And I will read this to you right now. This is from Alex at work. You've Steve Pagliuca. You've said his name no less than 14 times this morning, not once correctly. Put some respect on his name.
Yeah, Fred.
How do you say his name?
Pagliuca.
Pagliuca?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeremy says, James Corden continues to suck. He delayed the start of his play to make the audience watch a soccer match. Oh, how fun. Glad I didn't have plans after his stupid play. Glad I don't have a babysitter. I'm paying $20 an hour to watch my kids so I can watch this fat tub watch soccer and root for England. Oh, yay, penalty kicks. So apparently James Corden pretended to like sports for in a desperate attempt.
You know, he's got a wife. He's got children.
I have a lovely wife in the theater. It's very difficult to maintain with the pressure of performance on the stage.
Wait, James Corden has a wife?
He seems like someone, but James Corden.
Not a Buster Jones. I'm not skin and bones. In fact, I'm remarkably fat.
Yes. But I would tell you this: if you're paying to see that man live, you get everything you deserve.
Yeah.
Wait, your complaint is that you were forced to wait to see James Corden live? My complaint would be I was forced to see James Corden.
Yeah, James Corden delayed the start of a play in which he stars at the Old Vic Theatre in London so the cast and audience could watch the England's penalty shootout in the Euros match against Switzerland. The whatever term they use was due to begin just as players were lining up to take penalties to secure a place in the semifinals. Corden was watching on a tablet in the wings and then brought his device on stage to join the audience, many of whom were glued to the phones. He told the audience, "We will just watch England penalties and get into this serious play." And then he pretended to care about the outcome of it, in a way that suits him. Very animated, cheerleader-esque. James Corden went, "Hooray!" That's what he did.
Wait, James Corden has a wife?
Yes.
I have an email regarding one of the games we pitched earlier for his summer segment. The John Wallach tries a new drug every Wednesday at 9. Some ideas coming from Thomas O'Malley. He could be the LSD Oriole, the Mushroom Goose, or Huff and Hawk. So those are not only movie ideas, apparently, but also ideas for drugs for you to try on these Wednesdays, John.
Sounds fine. Hardy, you got this one as well. Hardy, and this is from Brett. Hardy, what would be fair compensation for you to travel to Croatia with Kendra and take pictures of her eating food?
That's where Kendra is now. If you follow her on Instagram, she's in Croatia.
So what would be fair compensation for
So
that?
this is a good game that we had once at a wedding when we were all forced to sit through traffic for Country Fest to get to this wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And the conversation was this. As we all got to the wedding and then finally we're sitting in the reception, and I said, man, that looked like a nightmare. What would your price tag be? You have to go to Country Fest. This is back when it was an all-day festival, and 12 bands started at 2:00 in the afternoon. And the thing was, you had to drive yourself there, park in P10 across the street, go into the concert, stay for every single set, walk out, and then drive yourself, sit in traffic, and drive yourself out of there.
Oh, boy. Because...
So, and your ticket is free, But you have to do that. You have to drive yourself there, and you can meet people, but you have to be there for the whole thing. Drive yourself, stay there, and then drive home.
Well, it is an oasis of hot women in a usually dry town. So being single, I mean, but then you said drive yourself and drive yourself back, and then stay for every band. Because, like, if there was someone, like, extremely attractive that there was some semblance of a chance I had in some alternate reality.
See, I can't tell if you're being sarcastic.
No, I'm being serious.
Okay,
Like,
because people have said that to me, and they're like, Hardy, you don't get it, those chicks in the cowboy boots going to Country Fest. And I say to them, Fred, play that tape to the end. Where you get that, you somehow manage to get that girl home with you, and then you peel those boots off after she's been drinking and sweating in them for the last 12 hours. And the funk that is going to fill your room when those cowboy boots come off.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
Just leave the boots on.
Not worth
Leave
what?
the boots on.
How much did you pay for the boots? Not worth what? Now that's it's free market. Those boots are what they're paid for. Now, if it's low, when you have an auction on the dark web, that's what you get. The price is the price. Buyers, keepers, losers, weepers.
How about just the insoles, where the bottom of the foot was in contact with the boot?
I guess it wouldn't be to have sex with them that day.
You got to go to Country Fest the whole day. You got to drive yourself home. How much?
Yeah,
What's your price tag?
$20,000.
Okay, this was 10 years ago. I said $3,000. I would not do it for $3,000 now.
I don't know if I'd do it for $20,000.
Wallach?
At least 50.
50,000?
That's what it would take for me to do that.
Now, I was at a wedding that Scott Zolak was also sitting at the table. He said, how much do I have to pay to do that? I'm not paying, but I'll go. Zoe would have done it for free.
If I was married, there would be no other reason to go except for that. Like, I knew I was going to meet multiple women that I was eventually going to have intercourse with, consensual intercourse with, and then I would not drive myself. I wouldn't drive myself to Foxborough anyway. Like, I don't like it, and it's no fun to be driven to Foxborough anyway because I got to park in that satellite lot that's still far away. Because once I'm there, it's all crap, so I can just sit there and it just would wave over me. I'm experienced in that now. I went to A Boogie with the Hoodie. I mean, I can deal with anything. I saw that guy not even lip sync to his songs. They just played music while he danced around.
Unreal.
And it just washed over me. Like the actual performances would not be a factor to me. It's really just the in and out of it. And if I knew at the end of the rainbow there was sex with attractive people, I could deal with a lot of shenanigans.
If you're going to deal with the smell from those boots.
I'm not talking about that evening even, though. Maybe it would just be with the promise of the next day.
Oh, boy. No, I'm not doing it. Not doing it.
And I don't use my sense of smell is not often used with these kinds of escapades. I don't usually play.
You got to engage all the senses, Freddie.
That's true. All the senses are activated.
You're going to need your ink guy ready here because this email, not for nothing, but the YouTube clip you started playing yesterday was creepy as F. Sounds like the last thing someone hears before they are.
In the 15th century, Europe's Johannes Gutenberg had to develop a new kind of ink for his invention.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Fred has listened to this guy multiple times, and the emailer says, unlike you, Fred, it does not give me warm fuzzies. It triggers my flight or fight response, and I want nothing more than to turn it off and stop listening. Otherwise, great show. It's no Sports Hub Golf Club, but keep striving for that level.
Now I know why you read it. Ben says, long time happy to have your cheery voices back in my life this week. Question is the true summer bit that we asked Milliken to come up, Tyler Milliken's cousin, to come up with summer bits and present them to Fred for approval. Perhaps we give the lad a chance to produce the bit promo. That is a good idea, but unrealistic. How creative those bit ideas were, I need to see the kid cook. Although Hardy did a damn good job on those cut-ups. Fred, now I'm reading this out of self-service, I guess, but I did not read this all the way through. Fred, please, God, keep doing the Doris Burke voice. I personally want to hear this guy's not got bad ideas. I personally want to hear Doris Burke Birdwatcher, in which she describes the awful habit of peeping on John. That is from Ben.
We have to fully flush out the pool and safety Doris Burke first.
A few minutes left with you, Doris. If you wouldn't mind just taking a moment out of this conversation to talk about pool and beach safety.
It's frightening.
Wear a wrist guard when you're submerging someone's head beneath the sea.
What?
When they kick and spasm as their body slowly goes into rigor mortis. It's almost a kickback of a shotgun. You keep that head underwater, sir.
What's the wrist guard for?
Well, their head could knock your hand back.
Oh, you're talking about...
Yeah, you're holding... It's not science. You hold them underwater. They start spasming and kicking. Their fight or flight response, their desire for survival kicks in, and then they start violently kicking, and it can really do a number on your wrist. I call it killer's elbow. Why won't you just die? Dear Lord, this one's a fighter. I got the hook caught in him.
So, Doris, what seems to be your affliction today? Oh, the old strangler's wrist is acting up, Doc.
Yeah, I got a real live one today. Yeah. Doo-doo. Doris. Doris. Dun, Doris. Rah! Die! Come on! What's the holdup, bub? I was a lifeguard.
No.
In Bizarro World.
No.
I popped the floaties.
Let me guess, it was your job to make sure the lives were not guarded.
Yeah. I just hung out in the locker room stabbing people. All right. There you have it. Thank you for your emails, and we will read those again tomorrow. Coming up, it is the stack. We shall return in just a moment. Here are John's headlines of all the sporting events going on right now.
It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. I'm getting somewhere. This is not just a corny thing, but I want you guys, top of your head, it's not really important. It's like a magic trick I'm doing.
Oh.
Name the top 4 offensive players of all time in NFL history.
Okay, Jerry Rice, Tom Brady, Barry Sanders, Randy Moss.
Okay.
That's a very good list.
Thank you.
People are going to say Walter Payton instead of
Sanders.
Barry Sanders, but I would agree with the other 3.
Okay, so Jim Brown would be in there too, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
Jim Brown,
Okay,
sure.
so Jim Brown, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton. You mentioned running backs. This is the ESPN top 10 running backs in the NFL, what they think going into this season.
Okay.
So you named out of the 3 running backs, I said top 4 offensive players of all time, and you spitballed 3 running back names. This is what's going on in the NFL now. Christian McCaffrey's number 1. All right, he's a star.
Yep.
Number 2 is Breece Hall from the Jets. Breece Hall's never run for 1,000 yards. What is going on with this position? Nick Chubb is 3rd. Saquon Barkley's 4th. Jonathan Taylor from Indianapolis 5th. Bijan Robinson, who's done nothing in Atlanta. Josh Jacobs is still in the NFL.
He's Green Bay, right?
Jahmyr Gibbs, who's done nothing. Derrick Henry, who's old. And Travis Etienne, which is was a mistake.
I saw this kid, the Rams running back, Kyron Williams, is apparently pretty good too.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is...
But it falls in line with what you're saying.
Yeah,
he's had 1 season and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, this was a marquee position in the NFL, and now Breece Hall is Breece Hall, who barely plays, who tore his ACL. Breece Hall is the second best running back in the NFL?
Yeah.
Holy moly.
How much does that have to do with the quarterback, though? Taking the heat off of him.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying that if I said name the best 10 wide receivers in the NFL, you'd be tripping all over yourselves.
Yeah.
You'd have 30 names.
Yeah.
And you certainly wouldn't get down to Derrick Henry. You wouldn't get down to, a 31-year-old has-been. I mean, that position is really something else. And by the way, Ramondre Stevens is not even an honorable mention.
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker from Michigan State is.
Redo the list.
Yep.
Ramondre Stevenson, who was just handsomely paid by the New England Patriots, not on that list. Take it for what it's worth. I just thought it was interesting that I was like, I wonder if Breece Hall's on it, and he was number 2. And Breece Hall's good, and he was a second-round pick, but, I mean, he's not Walter Payton or Barry Sanders or Jim Brown.
I think McCaffrey was the only guy to run for 1,200 yards last year. And you think about what running backs have been in the past. I think McCaffrey was the only back in the entire NFL to run for 1,200 yards.
I mean, just growing up, you could probably name the running back from half the NFL teams if I gave you a year.
Yeah.
You could probably do it. I mean, now it's becoming like the West Coast teams outside of the Dodgers in baseball.
It's like, who's their running back? Who's their running back?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't
Or it's
matter.
running back by committee.
Yes. So we know that Nikita Zadorov is now with the Bruins.
Of course we do.
We know that the Bruins are now a destination. He said as much. It was an easy decision. It's a reputation team. It's a winning franchise. These guys do actually pay some attention to the fact that it's a hockey city and an original 6 team, but that does present some issues for somebody like Nikita Zadorov, who has worn 16 for his entire career, which is in the rafters. And he says that's a problem when you join a team that's been around for 100 years. They got a lot of numbers retired.
Not really, but go ahead.
He wore number 16. That was also worn by Rick Middleton.
Of course.
So it is
nifty.
It is retired. So what number did Zadorov come up with, and can you guess why?
68 because of the Yager. And that is one away from 69 because you receive no pleasure.
I will.
68 is 68 gifts of you pleasure in the Yager. That does not go there. No. How does the Yager receive the pleasure from that?
I will give you the number. You tell me how he came up with it, because it has to do with 16. He chose 91.
Because the upside down, it's 16 upside down.
Look at you, Freddie T.
And you know how Dan makes a good point in my ear, how I might know that?
I know how you might know that.
Yep. How do you think I might know that? Who do we know that has done the same thing to a jersey? Scott
Pass
Zolak.
it everywhere. Every time I walk into this
There
office,
was
I
a
see
signed
it.
Scott Zolak jersey
Yep.
that under no way, shape, or form was a Scott Zolak jersey in its first incarnation.
They took the 6 and flipped it.
Yep.
It was great.
There's no way that was a...
There was an
9 and
upside down
flipped it.
9.
Yes.
Yeah. Whatever, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
There was a score, and now I think they actually sell, because my daughter was at the Patriots Hall of Fame.
They do sell it.
And
I've
she
been
said
there.
that you work with Scott Zolak, and I'm like, yeah, because she doesn't care about sports, right? And she was like, he's like everywhere in the Patriots Hall of Fame. So now they sell it, but there was a time where the station had to concoct a pity jersey for Scott out of leftover numbers on the floor. Who did it? Oh God, Mary? No way! It was before Mary.
Got to be Rucker. Rucker must have done it.
Oh, I think it was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
It was when we first moved over to Dorchester. I think.
Got to be
Or
Rucker.
even, but no,
No, it was before that.
Yeah,
it was
in
right when
Brighton.
it was right when it started.
No. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we had
that's
real
why I meant
crap on
Brighton,
that. We
right.
had Sully Banticane's jersey on the wall. We had a bunch of garbage.
Tully.
Yeah, whatever.
Sully, but close enough.
He changed
Irish
his name
kid.
when he moved here.
Sully Banticane.
Whatever. You know who got the Gretzky jersey signed? Me.
Yep.
Which is, I was given a Gretzky jersey, which is probably $200 or sweater, or whatever you want to call it. And I interviewed Wayne Gretzky, great guy. I really enjoyed it. But I got him to sign it. So I told you this story. When I worked at 99X in Atlanta, Sean Demery quit. Not under good terms, but he quit. And I was working the night shift, and he's like, hey, would you mind coming around with me? And we started taking gold records off the walls. Because he just didn't want to make a big deal about it, but he also wanted them. That's my Gretzky jersey. Should I be dismissed or leave this station? I'm saying that right now.
Okay.
If I got it autographed, I think that takes precedent over the person who purchased the jersey.
Yeah, you can have it.
Yeah, it's worth about 10 times as much, 20 times, 30 times as much with
Yeah, you
Gretzky's
take
signature
it.
on
You
it.
take it with you.
Yeah, I'd take that with me.
All right.
No matter where it is, I'm kicking down the door.
The Revolution Stadium proposal apparently has new life or increased life because it's been included in the state Senate's economic development bill. Do you know where it's going?
Everett.
Yes, in the designated port area. Or they're going to remove the designated port area status from a parcel of land on the Everett waterfront, which would be an early step for the Revolution and their bid to build a stadium on that plot.
So this doesn't approve the actual building. It just changes the zoning.
They can build a 200-foot giraffe there for all I care. The amount of times I'll be in that area. They can. You put whatever you want there. I ain't going.
You're saying a 200-foot giraffe would get you to drive to a lot of places, but it's not going to get you to go there.
I'm saying that they can put whatever they want. As long as it doesn't cost me any money, they can do whatever they want there.
You've been to Encore.
Yeah. I'm just saying that I wouldn't go to a Revolution game, and I don't intend to move to Everett. So
You've been to a Revolution game.
I said I have no intention of going to another Revolution game.
Oh, we had a good time.
It was a great time.
I'm not insulting the Revolution.
beforehand?
I'm not insulting the experience at all. I just don't want to go again. I saw Messi stand there, and he had two
And
goals
scored
just
two
standing.
goals.
And it was explained to me that that's indeed what he does. He stands there, and it's my complete ignorance of the game and my non-appreciation of it, and that's a me problem. But then again,
What do you want to run around all willy-nilly?
You know what? When one is spending their leisure time with activities, one can discern which they choose to do. It doesn't mean because you like it and I don't, it doesn't mean you can't like it. It just means I don't like it. And there's only so many hours and so many days of a lifetime. And I choose not to spend my free time watching Messi stand in a box.
Well, I choose to spend the next 3 minutes and the last 3 minutes of this show figuring out if you like Justin Bieber, who we learned from Danica Patrick is one of the lizard people. We should probably lean into that tomorrow. You don't know about Danica Patrick?
Oh, let's save that for tomorrow.
Her appearance on the podcast.
Danica
with
Patrick
the lizard
is
people.
nuts.
How the hell would I know? You just said two things that I don't consume again. Danica
Well,
Patrick.
I think it was in our show prep.
Yeah, but I didn't see it. Danica show prep. Yeah, I missed it. I honestly do look at it, but I didn't see that.
Okay, so
Danica Patrick was never overly attractive, and really marketed in that way, which I thought was highly.
She was the
unfair.
Bronny James of auto sports, brought up way too soon.
Yeah, and I
to
thought,
compete
and
at
I
that level.
and like they used her and like sexed her up, and I was like, this is not working.
But she's full blown cuckoo now. We'll lean into that tomorrow. But on the subject of Justin Bieber, paid how much money to play a pre-wedding party for the son of the richest man in Asia?
Oh God. Okay, $2 million.
I was going to say $5 million.
How about 10?
Yeah.
$10 million to play a pre-wedding party for Indian businessman Mukesh Ambani, chairman of the company Reliance Industries.
Oh,
who has a net worth of over $120 billion.
Yeah. That's like when it becomes liquid. Did you guys ever see the video of it's an Indian company, it's a tech company, and they're doing like the big like Apple kind of rollout for something, and they have a fake hot air balloon that goes to the rafters of the convention center, and it tips over and he falls out and dies. It's on YouTube. So if you're talking about rich Indian guys, my mind immediately went to this thing.
Death.
And he dies. He dies. Like you can watch him fall to his death. God. And it's in front of like a really enthusiastic audience. Like think of Steve Jobs, like or more the guy from Microsoft that's not Gates, like the fat Ballmer. The guy's sitting there clapping, like everyone's excited. There's like pyrotechnics going off. This fake hot air balloon basket goes in, and it's two guys in it, and it tips over, and one of the dudes falls out and lands and dies right there on the stage. It's gnarly. But then it's like difficult to watch because not in that it's disturbing, in that it's like a bunch of content creators like put it up. So it's like their face like all over it. You're like, I want to see the guy die, but like your face is all over it, like popping in and out. Like it's so you're gonna have to do a little digging to find the raw video of it.
Sure.
But it is disturbing. To put you, but I suppose you don't know that he died if you're there, right?
Well, suburban Chicago CEO killed in freak accident before a packed. This has got to be it.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay.
But it was in India. It wasn't in the United States. It was a Chicago businessman that was part of an Indian software company.
Wow. Oh, there it is.
They showed on the news.
Right.
They're not going to show him.
They show the basket tipping, but that's where.
Yeah,
they
because
stop
it would
the
be
video.
distasteful to show the whole thing. Just the hint of it is. Isn't that funny? Like, doing the story is very tasteful, but to show the entire video would be well over the line. Like, either show it or don't. Like, I understand not showing it, but you're going to show it.
Don't show it at all.
Yeah, just don't show it at all. Like, stop pretending that you care. Like, you're showing it for eyeballs and for salacious reasons, and that's why you just watched it. You just gave them money.
You told me to, you sicko.
Yeah. Watch, I'll get hate. Whoa, you watched the guy die. Yeah, well, it was on the news. All right, that'll do it for us. Everyone have a great day. Bye.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
What's next? College, university.